What's up, good people? Back at it again. Kind of impromptu, kind of compared. I messed up already. Had the first unforced error of the day. I said this is impromptu, but still kind of prepared. I took a little bit of notes, listened to the Kevin Samuels show, his first show after the viral phenomenon took hold. So yeah, I got to give a little analysis of that, how he dealt with the whole thing. Some of the things that was said on the show, my overall analysis. I'll be getting into that. I'll be breaking that down. But I like to welcome everybody on in. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in, whether you're catching the restream or you're catching it live or you're catching the restream. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Thanks for coming on through. Y'all know what time it is. You see the title. I don't even got a thumbnail, but it don't matter. I didn't even take the time to make a thumbnail. We just riding with it today. So let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
What's going on? What's up, good people? Welcome back. We are back in here, back at it again to take O'Shea's little tagline that he says. I'd like to welcome everybody to the show, the Grown Man Hour. I think I got everything I need set and ready to go. Got Tim Hortons coffee. Didn't make my own coffee today. Why? Because I ran out. So I just had to go grab some from the Tim Hortons down the street. Oh, too much. That was too damn sweet. I was like, ooh, I like sugar in the coffee, but that was just too damn sweet. But what's up? Shout out to everybody that make it in bright and early. I haven't even been shouting out the early bird squad, as I call you, those that make it in bright and early, drop comments and likes before the show even gets started. I appreciate y'all. D-Rock Den in the building with the first comment. Stoic1 says, peace be there in chat. Al Boogie in the building says, good morning, people. Just being jazzy says, hey, chat. And says, hey, Bernard. Don't comment on the half-naked picture. What's up, Omega Dreads in the building? Welcome all. Welcome. He says, welcome all. Welcome all. Kenny Conjo in the building says, Thursday morning greetings, Bernard Riley and everyone. Blessings. Bowdy Thug in the building. Shout out to Bowdy Thug. We got Seed of God in the building. Says, salute, Bernard. Who else we got in here? Killmatic says, let's go. New in the building. My man, New. Peace to New. Always coming through. He said, if it makes any, Omega Dread says, if it makes anyone feel better, we are all in a world of political substitution. Political substitution. I must be ignorant. I never heard that term, political substitution. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know what political substitution is. Why is this person half naked? I nigored it. She's pulling that. Come in a male space half naked. I don't know why I'm getting all this attention. I don't know. It's just these guys are just so thirsty. She doing that one. Oh, gee golly whiz. I just posted a regular pic and men just took notice of me. I had no idea. Gee golly whiz. Little old me. Oh shoot. For all you camera buffs out there, I need to increase or decrease the exposure. It's like too dark in here. Like even when I drink the coffee, it's fixed to find my face. But even when I obscure my face in any way, it's like the screen get darker. Need to do some tweaks on the camera. But what's up and what's going on? What's going on? Body Thug says definitely a dude behind the avatar. You know, that's almost what I think. Now, okay, I don't think I have no opinion about the individual in question. No opinion. But a lot of times I do assume, unless the person identifies himself as a woman in some way, shape, or form, or says something that, okay, a woman would definitely say that, I typically write it off as just, I don't know. To me, it don't matter. They're all just pixels on the screen on my computer monitor. I don't I don't put that much thought into it or them. You know, it's fun and it's funny just observing, but it's not a big deal, not a big thing. And Male Enlightenment TV came through in the building, says, that's what I'm talking about, B. Riley. They are a distraction from purpose. Stop playing, family. Enjoying the crypto gang. I'm joining. I'll probably be hitting you. I've been saying it for a minute. I mean, we already talked off the air one time, but I'm probably be looking out. I got your number, so be looking out for a text or call this weekend. We could set up something. You could, show me your little graphs and charts one more time. But I'm gonna research what I want to, what I think makes sense, and I'm coming to you, and we're gonna figure out this weekend what makes sense and what don't make sense, and then we're gonna go from there. But yeah, we definitely be getting together. Because I'm trying to get in on this crypto. Still mess with women. I ain't going all the way. I ain't going with you on the MGTOW Monk thing. I ain't going. I can't get in the car and ride with you on that, but we do need to get our money right. We do need to get our business right. We do need to get all of that right. We do need to, shout out to the Golden 11, keep our overhead low and our savings high. We need to be investing. We need to be doing all the stuff Male Enlightenment TV is talking about. That brother is extremely valuable to this space. He has a wealth of knowledge over there. So yeah, we definitely Definitely need to be rocking with the good brother Oheen. Definitely need to be rocking with him. But thanks and shout out to you. Thanks for that super chat. Appreciate it. Yeah, Oheen is the man. Oheen is the man. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. No ifs, ands, or buts. If creating cyber women. What? Omega Dreads, what you be talking about? And shout out to Omega Dreads. He came through heavy-handed. Had to give him the sponsor tag for like a show or two. Came through heavy-handed with that super chat. Had to put his name on the Jumbotron. But now he back on his saying crazy back saying crazy stuff. I don't know, creating cyber women. Okay. He back on that. You think a large coffee with 2 cream and 5, they must have changed their formula at Tim Hortons. I'm getting to the topic real quick, but they must have changed their formula at Tim Hortons, because back when I used to go there, I was able to get a medium coffee with 2 cream, 4 sugar, and it tastes good. Now I got a large coffee, 2 cream, 5 sugar, and it just tastes too creamy, too sugary. I must have reduced my tolerance for cream and sugar. That must be what it is. I must just can't take it no more. I don't know. I don't know what this is, but to the topic, we got 100 people in here. Make sure y'all hitting the like button. Make sure we hitting the like button. That is the easiest, simplest way to support the channel, by hitting the like button. There are other ways to support it, as the good brother Oheen just showed. But the easiest way with the least amount of strain or cost to you is to just hit the like button. Hit the like button. That is a very low barrier of entry when it comes to supporting a channel. That is the easiest, most simplest thing you can do, is hit that like button. Right now we at 104 people watching, 54 on the like, so we are at 50%. But actually, this early into the show, I kind of do expect us to be at about 75% this early, because normally the people that make it in right here with the early crowd is the people that really rock with the show, you know. So hit the like button. Quit being lazy and stingy with the likes. But be that as it may, it was you know, I don't got to give too much backstory. We all know about the momentous occasion, I'll call it, of the brother Kevin Samuels. He went viral on World Star. That bad boy is up to 2 million views. 2 million views. Why does that matter? Because even though Kevin Samuels was doing his thing on YouTube on his YouTube channel, or whatever other form of media he was using to get his message out, he some time ago was introduced to the manosphere. He could have looked at it and said, this is a toxic environment, and just went the other way. He could have. He definitely could have, but he didn't. Why? Because he saw black men here. So he wanted to, even though the diversity of ideas, beliefs, and all of that amongst the black men here, he wanted to ultimately contribute to this space. So, and he did have something to offer to this space, and he did. He offered it. And, you know, some people didn't really care for it. Some people didn't like what he was talking about. Some people wasn't picking up what he was laying down. But either way, be that as it may, he came here, he stuck it out, he rocked with black men where he could have just not dealt with this space and just did his style and image thing. There are some other style and image guys that I found through him who are doing great. And they're not picking up this fight of you know, the black male image. They're just talking about image in general. They're not picking up this fight of black men and, you know, our overall social contract with women, with particularly black women, and how it has fallen apart, how families have fallen apart. And when families fall apart, we end up seeing what we're seeing right now. We end up seeing all the stuff that a lot of people want to save themselves from or go their own way from. That's something that a style and image coach don't even have to touch. You don't have to get down in the mud and deal with that. He was on a trajectory. Had he just kept doing his thing, he would have grew from there and would have did just fine. Uh-oh, here we go. James the kid said Moise had to keep his mouth shut because a sister was co-signing him and had nothing bad to say. Oh, that was something. That's something I'm going to get into. I watched part of I'll say his name, no big deal, because we're not speaking badly. Well, you speaking badly of him because you gave him an insulting nickname. But Boyce Watkins, yeah, he had a nice panel on that, and I caught some of the original panel, and yeah, it was one lady on there who was keeping it real and saying some good things. Then it was some women on there that was just super caught up in their feelings and their emotions of it all. And that's one thing that I'm going to be talking about on this show as well, because a lot of people, their feelings and emotions of it all is the only thing that really carried any weight in the discussion, and their analysis of the video or everything. That was it. That was it. Their feelings and their emotions and how it made them feel, how it must have made her feel. Feelings, nothing more but feelings. That's all everybody was talking about. RBR, you better quit clowning. I haven't even read now one of your comments. I just see you keep commenting. I'm going to read that one. Now I'm going to get back on subject. No, Kevin Samuels is selling dreams to black people that they can only enjoy white privilege. 90% of black people, 99% of blacks on YouTube want to be white and love. Okay. All right. I tried. Good old RBR. Why do I bother? Why do I even bother? Oh no, I see why you did that, Sir Tice. No biggie. I definitely see why you did that, Sir Tice. Brian Tolbert says women did notice how she had her phone up, but the dudes were stepping on eggshells in fear of the backlash from the women. That was an interesting dynamic in that whole conversation. It seemed as if the women were keeping it more real, some of them, but the men were scared to keep it real. That's more of that tail wagging the dog stuff that goes on. The men weren't really trying to just say what needed to be said. They're walking on eggshells. They're being sensitive. It's like it's like black men have to go through their sensitivity training, but black women don't. It's sort of like that's what we got going on here. And that was another good point that was brought up. I'm bouncing all over the place now. That was a good point that was brought up with Kevin Samuels brought that up. Actually, somebody else brought that up. I think somebody brought that up in my chat or in my comment section. They said something about Simon Cowell. We all know Simon Cowell on American Idol, who just got famous for shattering people's dreams and got show after show after show after show from doing that. And nobody more or less had a problem with it. I mean, some people did, but they understood, okay, he's telling the truth. Or if they disagree, because there was times when I used to watch American Idol. What up, Soul Provider Speaks? I used to watch American Idol. I quit after a while. It just turned kind of, weird. And I was kind of a social justice warrior back then, too. I don't know how we'll feel about this now. No, I still would think this was wrong. they used to, when they used to first make it into like the top 20, to get it narrowed down to the top 20 or top 24, it would be, it would be 10, it would be like 10 white girls, 10, all American sorority girl look, blonde hair, blue eye, skinny, stereotypically happy white girl that can sing. Okay. And it would seem like the one black girl that would make it into the top 20 or by extension the top 12 or whatever, it would be some fat, precious looking chick. Now, out of all the, I don't know, 50,000 black women that tried out, of those 50,000 that tried out, of the 500 that could sing good enough to get on the show, did y'all really have to pick the one that looked like Precious? Now, back then, I felt like that was some racist BS. Right now, I kind of look at it like, well, are they depicting something wrong, given that 80% of black women are overweight? Are they are they just putting out there what our culture is apparently okay with? Right now, I got a different take on it back then, but I was very liberal and SJW-ish, but even before the word even existed, that was kind of me. But that was my problem with that I had with American Idol. But there were a few seasons of it. That year that Fantasia won, I was watching that year. That was actually a good year. Jennifer Hudson was on there and came in like 7th place. And it was some bull. She went too early, but it was enough talent to where some of the people, at least 4 of the people that made it further than her, was justifiable. It was some black dude on there named George Huff that could sing, had an old school Motown voice. Some chick named, I think, Latoya London. Ooh, I might be botching that name. I think that's somebody else. There was another chick on there that made it, I think, like into the top 4 that could sing her ass off. It was a lot of people on there that could sing, and some of them went on and had careers. And then I gradually quit watching after that. But the moral of the story here is this: Simon Cowell made a career being brutally honest to people, and even when he was brutally honest, and you disagreed with his brutal honesty sometimes, which I did. Sometimes I felt like he was too critical of somebody. Sometimes I felt like, yeah, she could sing. Okay, she may not be a superstar, but she can sing. You ain't have to, you have to cut her across the stomach and just pull her guts out one by one. Just pull her intestines out one by one. You ain't have to do that. Oh, you full of, oh no, yeah. Kelly Clarkson. Okay, now I'm about to go full dork and lame on y'all, but Kelly Clarkson, yeah, she should have won, because that damn the guy she beat was a dude, a kind of blackish looking dude that had he didn't have an afro, he had a Jufro. His name was Justin Warwini. And you remember that fro that Justin Timberlake had when NSYNC first came out? The dude had one of those type of fros. That was like the ugliest look ever. He shouldn't have won. He couldn't sing that good. Kelly Clarkson actually could sing. I don't know about right now, but right now I imagine she's probably had like 3 babies, gained 80 pounds, and probably had a drug problem. I mean, it's been a while. There's enough time for pop star to get on drugs, get off drugs, get back on drugs again, have 3 kids, and do all that. But yeah. Hell's Kitchen. I think that's another show where the host is insane. Shattering dreams, cutting people guts out of their body. Dream shatterers. All over the place. So the question was put on the table: what's wrong with a black man being so brutally honest? Why do black men have to go through sensitivity training, but black women don't? Black women can say what they want to say, how they want to say it, when they want to say it, and can't nobody tell them nothing. Black men doing essentially the same thing. It's a problem. And moreover, it's a problem due to the very nature of what he's getting into, the business that he's getting into. That's something that I feel the manosphere can't overlook. We're essentially here due to the manosphere is about a lot of different things. So I hate when I have to define it and potentially pigeonhole it. Oh, Brian Tober, what's up? What's up? Salute. Shout out to you. He says, for some old school mead for your nice goblet. You're the first person. I think you're talking about this. I think, yeah, you're the first person that acknowledged this. I bought this from some little Dungeons and Dragon type of store. It was in the mall, in the food court at the mall of all places. And they got like, you know, they one of those places that sell like swords, Lord of the Rings looking stuff. It was some Harry Potter stuff, all kind of junk in there. You know, Thor's hammer and the axe, that Mjolnir. I always mess up the name. They you know, so they, you know, you go in there, you see Stormbreaker, Mjolnir, you see all the swords and all the stuff from everything that got anything to do with dorkdom. They sell it in there, and so I went in there. Soul Provider says nerd flow. I'm limited though. I'm limited. I don't, you know, I don't got a black belt in nerddom. Don't got a black belt, but yeah, man. I thought this was pretty cool. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do some drinking from this on my show. I wanted something a little different. I'm not big into skulls, but it's cool how it just got on like the little warrior. The skull got on the warrior helmet. So I was like, hey, this looked pretty cool. I'm gonna get it and drink from it on the show. But Brian Tober, you're the first one to formally noticed and acknowledge that. So shout out to you. No Cupcake Zone. Did y'all catch Christy the Swirler moving the goalpost to a high value to $1 million with a white guy on her show? No. I think Soul Provider Speaks did some content on that, but I didn't exactly I saw his thumbnail. I didn't watch it, but I do I came to understand people. I've heard people buzzing about it, put it like that. I definitely heard people buzzing about that. I don't know what all the strict details of it is, but no, so I didn't hear it. Judge Zilla in the building says Simon Cowell had already made tens of millions of dollars before American Idol, and Justin is a little sweet in the Diet Dr. Pepper commercial. I don't know what you're talking about Justin being sweet in the Diet Dr. Pepper commercial, but shout out to Judge Zilla, the beast. Hope you're doing well. Not going to rehash your personal situations there, but yeah, hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. Glad to see you back around in the chat. Be happy when we see you back on panels, man. We'll be happy when we see you back on panels. But thanks, No Cupcake Zone, for that. For the super chat. I might look into that. I won't do content on it. I will not do content on that. Justin is the sweet one. That's him? Yeah, bullshit. No. No. Y'all ain't saying that's Justin Warini that do those Dr. Pepper commercials where the guy is looking like Prince. I hate when y'all say stuff that I gotta stop and Google during my show. Actually, I'm gonna Google it on my computer. That way I'm not looking down. I got to Google this. Oh, didn't know that was him. I know that was him. Y'all stupid, man. I didn't. Y'all are stupid, man. I'm looking at the picture and that's man, hell no. I'm not even about to put it up. But man, listen. When I watched that season of American Idol, that was the first season of American Idol. I think most people watched that one. I felt like the dude was talented. I felt like he was going to go somewhere, even though he didn't win. His career never quite panned out, but that's where the hell he landed, huh? Doing very suspect Dr. Pepper commercials. Okay. Yeah, just killed me right there. Yeah, seriously just killed me. O'Shea Duke Jackson in the building, back at it again. He says 2020, the year that the Manosphere 2.0 proved how dominant we were and still on top. LOL. Shout out to hashtag Kevin. Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. Yeah. 2.0 winning. Under the unstoppable force that is Manosphere 2.0. I'll give y'all props. Because I didn't really know about Manosphere 3.0 that much. So for me, 2.0, y'all was it. Y'all was the Manosphere. Y'all started this Manosphere shit, far as I was concerned, until I had to do some history and found out there were, others before y'all, but overall, yeah. I gives the props. Gives the props in the respect when it's due. Oh man, y'all just killed me. That was a major segue or sidetrack, man. I had no idea that was him, man. Yeah, I'm sitting there looking at him. Yeah, somebody said he looked white now. It looked like he did bleach his skin. Yeah, I don't know nothing. I've never heard of light-skinned brothers bleaching their skin. I've never heard of that. But his skin looked a bit bleached. It did. His skin looked a bit bleached. The Prophet of Thought series in the building. Says Brother Bernard Samuels has given this medium a gift. Yeah. The fact that he is a topic proves this. Oh yeah. No, he's definitely. Listen, I tried to explain to people before. Yes, I tried to explain to people yesterday that regardless of where you fall on your position on this, your position on that, rather you're MGTOW, SYSBM, IPMOR, whatever it is, whatever you are, whatever set you claim, the stuff that he's talking about on his show, that he's exposing and he's unearthing and he's peeling back the scabs and the layers and got the world talking about it. All the reasons why the Manosphere exists and we are all here, we're seeing, live interactions that exemplify why. So a lot of the arguments that you make that cause you to go MGTOW or SYSBM, the world is hearing those arguments. Now, they're not hearing it from a MGTOW or SYSBM person, but the world is hearing those arguments. So you should be glad that the world is hearing those arguments. When I say the world, I do mean the world. 1 million people on World Star, that's the world. I mean, he had 13K, the tops that I saw it at. I fell asleep on some of it, woke up and tried to get caught up and listen to what I fell asleep on. But I saw it at the top, 13K live viewers. 13K live viewers. Now, I don't know if he's going to hold serve on that. I don't know. But I don't think it will be uncommon for him to hit 10,000. I do think it was that the first one, after, because he took a little small hiatus. So I think the first time he come back, I think it was legitimately going to be a bump beyond the usual. And I think he probably will regress down to 10,000. I think he'll probably maintain 10,000 going forward. Now, if you're on for 3 hours and you're maintaining 10,000, that means when all is said and done, especially because it come on at night, so people wake up and listen. I mean, I don't think it will be uncommon that, he averaged, probably 200,000 total views per video at this point. Somebody just said 15. Pablo said 15,000. I didn't see it hit 15,000, but I was doing multiple things. I had multiple things going on. I'm sorry for the ramble. I meant to, I've been doing content where I've been staying very focused on the topic, but this was more of a ramble because I had a lot going on yesterday. I didn't get fully, even when I was listening to this show, I don't know if anybody ever wall mounted a 65-inch TV to a wall. It can be a bit challenging. So yeah, I was doing that. I was doing that last night while I was listening. And once I got it mounted, I had a game DVR'd, a football game DVR'd that I deliberately didn't see the outcome of the game, so I can go watch a game that already happened a day ago. I'm a dork like that. I like football like that. So I had to watch that game. I was watching that game while watching Kevin Samuels while falling asleep, and then woke up and then just came here winging it. So don't got a show really fully prepared out, but I did want to give my post-thought analysis to the momentous occasion of Kevin Samuels going live after going viral and all the ramifications and everything that happened from there. Because what I noticed is going on, the sea change is in that whole dating, mating, relationship business that I know a lot of y'all say, I don't give a damn about all that. I understand, but like I said before, the reason why you came to the manosphere, either went MGTOW, either went SYSBM, or if you just a regular typical panel hopping or commentator in the chat in the manosphere, if you the reason, the things that brought you here are the things that are being discussed there. A lot of people have been discussing those things. A lot of people have had women call into their show, and those women have gotten eviscerated and torn apart and picked to shreds with their bad arguments. That's happened a lot. That's happened an awful lot. But it's normally with a majority male audience with just a few women, and then one brave woman steps up and gets on the Summer Jam screen and gets picked apart. It's a different ball game when there's literally thousands of women there watching, and not just thousands of women there watching. The world is watching. The world is sharing it. When it's that big, it hits different. It's no way around that. What he's doing is hitting different than the way anything has ever hit. And all the red pill information, truth, knowledge, and insight that have come out of this space is being brought to the doorstep of everybody. So that's definitely a win for the sphere. I just wish that we can get past looking at the smaller things that, the nitpicky things that we disagree with him on. There's a lot of nitpicky things that people like to focus on and use that as their baseline. Well, we're just going to focus on that part right there. I don't like this one thing that he says here. But you're missing the point where black men on a platform that's bringing in that many people from all over, the academics, the celebrities, the sisterhood, everybody is watching. Everybody is watching. O'Shea said, people, dang, O'Shea, I didn't even realize. Okay, you stunting on us too with that check by your name. I see you. I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice O'Shea in here stunting on us with that check by his name. I see you, big baller, big player out there. Got the check by your name. I didn't even notice that. I saw when Kevin Samuels rolled back through here for the first time with that check by his name. I was like, look at him out here stunting on us with the check. I ain't know you was flossing too. O'Shea. I see you. But yeah, no, people making bread off from Kevin Samuels videos. A lot of people have gone, damn, hold on. Most brothers never had a problem with Kev's show. We had a problem with trying to feminize and monetize the sphere. I don't even know what you're talking about. Monetize the sphere? Who had a problem with monetizing the sphere? I mean, you get 1,000 subs, you open up the super chat. Is that monetizing the sphere? I mean, I understand what you mean by that. He says only 2.0 creators have the check. #facts. Stunting and flossing with the check, man. Stunting and flossing with the check. You're an official public figure now, O'Shea. You got the check. You got the check by your name. Corner Store Podcast in the building with the super stat. Shout out to the Grown Man Hour. Shout out to the Grown Man Hour. Appreciate you. Speaking of monetizing the sphere, I got my Cash App scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Speaking of monetizing the sphere. I mean, YouTube is a monetized platform. Hell, they showing ads on people's channels that's not even monetized. What do you mean monetizing the sphere? I don't know what the hell that means. I don't know what you mean by feminizing it either. Everybody can make money. What's wrong with making money? Right on, Pablo. At Lady Talks. Only if those same women refuse to lower their desires for top flight, high value men. Fix that for you. Corner Store Podcast. Don't mean to pocket watch, but Kevin Samuels got bags last night. Great for that brother. Oh, yeah. I did a little pocket watching. I ain't gonna lie. It was like one moment where I just looked up and just I saw so many hundos on there. I took like 8 seconds to count them, Big Ike dropped I ain't gonna say how much Big Ike dropped. That would be inappropriate. But just at a quick glance, you can just I counted like $2,000 real quick. I couldn't help it. It was the numbers was right there in my face. I couldn't help it. My brain just went 200. 2,000. I couldn't help it. Could not help it. So yeah, I did a little pocket watching. Now, if you sit there with a notebook the whole time and you every time you see a super chat, you sitting there right, and then you pull out your calculator and then add it all up at the end of the show. Okay, yeah, now you're pocket watching. But sometimes you can't help it if they just all right there lined up. If you just see if you just look up and you see 500, 250, 200, 100, 100, 100, 150, 100, 100, if it's just right there and you looking at it, your brain is hardwired to just do quick math. I couldn't help that. So yeah, I did a little pocket watching last night. But the one thing, when your channel get that big, it's bigger than super chats at that point. When you can drop a video a day, and then every video over time gets to the point where it's averaging almost 100,000 views. I'm not trying to train y'all on how to pocket watch harder, But if you Google how YouTube CPM work and see how the formula work, and then plug his views into that formula, prepare for your jaw to drop when you do the math on that. I'm not trying to train you how to pocket watch harder, but I'm just saying. It's so no, the sky's the limit. Floodgates are open. It's so I mean it's bigger than super chats. It's super chats is just part of the equation. A smaller channel like mine, super chats is the biggest part of the equation. But once your channel get that big, it ain't all about super chats. It ain't about super chats. I mean, it is, but it ain't all about them. Smaller content creator. That's why I shout out to Sphere. This space is an amazing space because the audience is relatively small, but I do feel like, and there's been a lot of debate on this, I do feel like it shows a lot of support. I mean, a lot of support. You can have less than 4,000 subs, but still make good money. Like black men support. Like I don't buy that. They support. You just got to give them what they want. Put it like that. If you're giving them what they want, they will support. Now, maybe it's just a small, tedious window of exactly what black men want. That could be it. But I do believe you give black men what they want, they will support. So that's that. And I hope I didn't miss, let me see. I think Abdul Jones, at least I think that's who it is. He said, don't mean to pocket watch, but Kevin Sam. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The bag. Yeah, the bag. He secured the bag. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We can go on and call it as he should. As he should. I mean, look, man, you put in that work, you grow a channel. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Abdul Jones in the building says, what up, Bernard in chat? What up, and salute to you. Speaking of people who support this space, Abdul Jones always come through on my platform, probably come through on other platforms as well. Y'all motivate. Y'all have no idea how much y'all encourage content creators to keep banging out that content for you. Listen, y'all. So I give y'all the utmost respect and salute to all those who support this kind of content, man. Definitely give all of y'all the full salute, for real. I've been up here rambling. The link is, oh shit, I didn't mean to click on that. Get that off of there. That's what I meant to click on right there. All right, the link is in the chat. So I covered a few things I wanted to get into. Yeah, January man says, what you get is exactly what you deserve. Right on. Is a debate going on in the chat? A married woman can become a single mom very easily. Yeah, if she divorced him at an 80% rate, yeah, she can single mother the shit out of herself. I mean, a married woman can become a single mother very easily, and everybody looks at a married woman differently. A married woman after a divorce differently than they look at just some chick that just got knocked up. So somebody to try to equate the two, you're on some BS right there out the gate. But I don't like it when married women say they can become a single mother very quickly when they're the ones filing 80% of the divorces. And even when the man tries to fight for half custody of the kids, as I did, the woman fights tooth and nail to reduce him down to every other weekend and Wednesday from 5 to 8, but then calls him a deadbeat for leaving her with the kids. Get out of here with that bullshit. Or come on up if you want to get that work. Kevin Samuels always mentions all those other things. That cooperation, kindness, good attitudes, nurturing, and all of that. Kevin Samuels always mentions all of that. if y'all talking about Kevin Samuels, I'm sitting there trying to get caught up on this back and forth in the chat. But either way, I think we got my man, brother Xavier, in the building. Gonna go to him. Gonna go to him real soon. But that's one thing that kind of, I don't want to say ticks me off, but it just piques my interest how they will even argue that, oh, a married woman can become a baby mama real fast, but then file 80, because they divorcing their husbands. Of course they can become a baby mama real fast. Anybody will become a single mother real fast, you divorce their husband, but you already know society views it differently than just some chick that got knocked up. But it makes you wonder if even when they get everything they want, they get the husband, they get everything they want, everything they said they ever dreamed for. Their relationship goals, bucket list is complete. They got the husband, the family, the kids, probably a house, the dog. They got all of that, and they leave that situation at an 80% rate. So it makes you wonder who's leaving these relationships or breaking up these relationships when they don't even got all that, when they're not married yet. Who's ending these relationships? You know, you can't be a serial relationship ender, but then complain about being a single mother or getting knocked up by a guy who can't walked up with a marching band behind him twirling red flags around, and you still gave him raw sexual access. Then that turns into a situation where you choosing these type of dysfunctional men, which many of you do have a stated preference for the dysfunction. But even when you're in a non-dysfunctional situation, you know, of course there's problems in a marriage, but at the end of the day, y'all married, y'all a family. That should be try to worked out. That situation should try to be worked out to the end. Men get married, they don't file divorce. That means men typically want to stay married. So it's clearly the data shows the women are the ones that don't wish to stay married. Women are the ones that don't wish to stay in the relationship. If they're ending marriages, we can conclude that they're ending most relationships. Kevin Samuels' show, they call in, and when they tell the reasons why they end most of those relationships, is normally for a very stupid reason. Normally for a very stupid reason. And the only time that they could ever try to pull any legitimate reason why they ended it, they got to say something like it was abuse. I was being beat. Cheating or getting cheated. He was cheating on me or hitting on me. But even then, when that gets scratched beneath the surface, we find out that it was mutual combat where she quite often threw the first punch. Now, I don't justify men hitting a woman. I'm a softie on that one. I mean, hey, I'm like, you can. I've been in situations. I've trying not to talk about. Yeah, but I know the process of sometimes you just got to get out of there. You just got to get to the chopper, take a punch to the back of the head, walking out the door. I've done that. So, you know, I understand some dudes say you raise your fist at me, you're no longer a woman, you're getting belly to back suplexed. I understand. I don't go around telling y'all wrong. I'm just saying that's just me. I'm not going to hit a woman. But I do understand that mutual combat is a thing. But that's normally where they got to go if they want to try to find, if they're given a good reason why they left. Because if she is legitimately just a victim getting beat up, that's a good reason to leave. That's a good reason to break up a family. If you're getting your ass whipped, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But short of that is normally not a good reason when they give their reason. It's normally a stupid reason. And when they give those stupid reasons, it makes you wonder, the people that's filing 80% of the divorces, are those the ones breaking up 80% of those relationships? If they're breaking up 80% of those relationships when there's children, then why are we saying that men are leaving their families? A relationship fails and all the laws dictate that at a very high percentage rate, the woman is going to get the children no matter what. We can't just say to talk about it like men are just leaving families. Men are just abandoning children. That relationship failed. That's what happened. And even if he fought for custody, she fought for him to get every other weekend. And when he's getting every other weekend, she's complaining about raising kids by herself. She's complaining that he's the deadbeat that she fought for him to be. Now, the outright serial impregnating deadbeat, I got no cape for that guy. None whatsoever. But you're not going to end a relationship and then say the father left the home. Bucket 88, appreciate you, Bernard. Keep up the great work. Thank you for that. Oh, shit. No, hold on. Damn it. I did not mean to. I'm not trying to lose all those super chats. Somebody said something. People confuse self-esteem with market value. Kevin's show is there to destroy the delusional ego, not the ego. Oh, accurate view of self improves your life. Right on. He giving women a proper appraisal. No cupcake zone in the building. Could Kevin be the first to do an exclusive deal with YouTube? 13K live organic is huge. What do you mean by to do an exclusive deal with YouTube? I don't know what you mean. I don't know exactly what you mean by that. Thank you for the super chat, though. Come on, I know I saw somebody else. If you super chatted and I missed it, I apologize. If you super chatted and I missed it, I apologize. Let me see. I see Rocket 88. All right. Okay, you guys win. LOL. Agree with everything the man said, but if he was talking to your mom, sister, or daughter, yeah, I would feel different. No. All right. Without further ado, we got the unofficial man of the hour. We treating this like a one-on-one, Xavier. What's going on? You got to drop bombs today. What's happening, man?
Peace, brother Bernard. Peace to the brothers in the chat. What's good with it, man? I've been home a lot this week, man. So I've been binging on your stuff, man, and I've been actually able to catch some of your lives. So that's a good thing. I've been able to catch up on you, man, and catch you live. But I'm gonna say this, man, and I know it's probably gonna bother a few people, but you know me, brother Bernard. I don't care. Right. What has happened, and we're gonna get off of Brother Samuels, all right?
Yep.
What has happened is on the quote unquote Jumbotron that Obsidian always refers to, on the Jumbotron, what we saw is a brother giving one of these women the hardcore truth. That's all we saw. We didn't see anything outside of that. But what a lot of women saw, and a lot of brothers who defend these type of women saw, what they saw was their mom, their sister, their daughter, their auntie. That's what they saw. Because let us be clear, a lot of us as black people, we know somebody just like that girl that was on that screen. We have a sister. We have a sister who's a baby mama. Some of our mothers were baby mamas. We watch some of our grandmothers grow old, alone, and die. People like me, I see these old 75-year-old women in the supermarket, barely pushing a cart, barely loading their grocery in the car. So we see that. And what we saw was the harsh reality for about 70% of black women. We saw it in living color, and they saw it. And you know why a lot of people are upset? A lot of women are upset because they see themselves in that woman. They empathize with her. They are her. They're her. They're home, 36, 37 years old with cats and dogs and plants and kids. All right. That's their life. And they do not want to face the fact that that's probably going to be the rest of their life. I call it the 2, 3, 4 word rule. And what I mean is there's 2 words, 3 words, and 4 words many women like her will never hear. The first 2 words are, you fine. The next 3 words are, honey, I'm home. And the most important words that most of them will never hear, will you marry me? That's what it comes down to. And for that reality to hit them hard like that, they cannot believe that a black man doesn't have the empathy, doesn't have the compassion, doesn't have the sensitivity to their plight. All right. Mm-hmm. But like I said on your show the other day, Brother Bernard, these are things that we have talked about for years.
Right.
For years. All right. So now everyone else gets to hear it. Now all of these crazy delusional women get to hear it. Our mama get to hear it. Our sister gets to hear it. Our daughter gets to hear it. And it's hard for us to digest it. I get it. But guess what? You have to digest it. You have to. Because trust me, once it goes down, it's sort of like medicine, you know. It's really, really bitter. But after it gets into your system and, you know, that pain goes away after a while. And it doesn't happen immediately. And this will slowly be digested as well. Because this is medicine. This is medicine for the delusional. This is medicine for the people who live in fantasy land. This is medicine for the people who actually believe that they don't have to negotiate for what they want, that they just deserve it. Because what do we say in this space? You don't always get what you deserve. You get what you can negotiate. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are not willing to negotiate. They just like, gimme, 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 because I think I should have it. Well, me, I think I should have a damn yacht, but I don't have one. I think I should have a damn helicopter, but I don't have one. So I have to settle for my truck. I have to settle for my car. I have to settle for my bass boat instead of the yacht. You understand? And that word settle, those words compromise, kill us as black folks, even when we know our thinking is totally unrealistic. Because many of us know we're unrealistic in what we're thinking, man. We know it. Just like we know what we see in the damn mirror. We know what we see in the mirror. When that girl look in the damn mirror, she knows she ain't getting no 6-figure man. Especially if she's an old baby mama. Because you know, that baby mama stuff, or as I like to refer them to as these old mamas, they already know what it is. Because guess what? The dudes that they had the babies by probably wasn't the dudes that they claim they want. You think a lot of these women who had these kids had kids by these 6-figure guys, these guys that's making upwards of $200,000 a year? They probably had a baby by a dude that's living in his grandma's attic. But now the 6-figure guy supposed to come along and sweep her off her feet with her damn babies in tow and give them this lush, relaxed life where they don't have to do nothing but drive their Rolls Royce all day and shop on Rodeo Drive. Come on, man. All of them, what they really have to do, all they got to do is look at their mothers. Did your mother get that? Did some 6-figure man come and sweep your old mama off her feet and take care of you and her? Did that happen? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What more than likely happened is you repeated that same cycle of thinking that some man was going to come in there and play daddy for you. All right? Play daddy for you. Sweep your mama up. Give her all kinds of money. Give her a damn life. And it never happened for her. You watched her grow old alone. You watched your grandmama grow old alone. So if you don't change the pattern, if you repeat the cycle that your old mama and your grandmama did, what do you think is going to happen to you?
Oh, you be throwing bombs. Shaquille in the building. He says, if Black popular culture celebrated understanding of college algebra, most problems wouldn't be this bad. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Also, my man Osama Abdu came through. That rhymed. Osama Abdu came through. He says, TPOT, one of the best orators at the Black manosphere, hands down. I agree 100%.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that, man.
Says roll. What the hell? What does that say? Roll grain. What is that? Roll grain. Granganoise? I don't know what that is. From Boyce's show was spitting facts last night on Kevin Samuels' show. Is that a person? I don't know who that is. I don't know who you're talking about. But somebody with that name that I struggled to pronounce she says this person was spitting facts last night. I don't know exactly who you're talking about. I probably watched it. I just didn't take the time to catch anyone's name. I more so just listened to it and didn't really watch it, and so I don't know who's who and who was saying what. I just listened to it. But if one chick was saying some good stuff that I had to pick up my phone and had to look and say, okay, let me see what she looked like. Not like that, but I just wanted to see the person, see if I recognized the person, because she was saying some really, really good stuff. But that's just one individual who was saying some good things. There was a few people on there saying some good things. It was a nice program. It was a nice program that they put on. X, you mentioned something. You talked about them looking at they old mamas. The woman, she's in her 20s or whatnot. Let's just say she's in her 20s, or she's like this chick. The chick that was just okay. Coach Ali's Corner says Roll runs a life school. Okay, I don't know how to say her last name, whatever it is, but if you're talking about the wife school chick, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, that was she cool. Why do you think so many of them don't look at the results and outcomes of their mom and not say, ooh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that. I have seen an example that I hesitate to talk about where the mom was on welfare, had a bunch of kids, and then when those kids start getting older, she like doubled back in, I guess, her late 30s and had a whole nother batch of a bunch of kids. It's like almost like she had like two different generations of kids. Like she's just the person I'm talking about has like a set of late 30s, like 38, 39, 40-year-old, some a 38, 39 and a 40-year-old, but then also got some early 20s kids. So you see what I'm saying? Like when the first batch of kids got old, she went and started over. When her oldest kids started leaving the house, she started having more kids. But one of those kids, one of the children, one of the women in the first batch looked at that and said, man, and it was on welfare the whole time, of course. She looked at that and said, you know what? That's not about to be me. She made her changes, did whatever she had to do, because she did end up getting pregnant early on. And she made the changes and did whatever she had to do to not end up like that. And this person is now, married and, got a happy family or whatever. She made it a point that she was not going to be that. I think I kind of looked at the results and outcomes of her mom's life and made a decision not to do it. I think there's a lot of men, some don't, but there's a lot of men who grow up with just, it's like it's heavy on us where, if we didn't have our father in our life, we like, oh man, I cannot do that. I cannot be that. I got to be there in my kid's life. My dad died when I was 5, but Papa was a Rolling Stone. So I'm not going to speak to how much he would have been there had he not died. but I do know the history of it. He was living a lifestyle. He was living a lifestyle that resulted in that early death. And I was just like, man, I'm not my boys ain't gonna they not gonna know what it's like come hell or high water. They not gonna know what it's like to not be with me. They're just not gonna know that. I think a lot of men carry that burden as well of not wanting to do what our fathers did. So when you mentioned how come they're just not looking at the life of their mom and seeing the outcomes that their mom got, and not just saying, man, I got to not be this come hell or high water. How do they? But they will argue for something that's going to yield them the same outcomes. Like, why is that? How is that?
Well, a lot of women, I know, because I have a lot of women around me. Okay,
Mhm.
I have 4 sisters. All right, I have a wife that we about to celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary in about 4 months.
Congratulations.
I have 2.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. I have 2 adult daughters, and I also have a 14-year-old granddaughter. So I have my fill of women. Okay, I have a fill of females, right?
Mhm.
And one thing, and I also have sister-in-laws. So I watch how women are, and the difference between women and men, especially when it comes to raising children. Men, we have a tendency to not want our children to turn out a particular way. We want them to be better than us. That's kind of where we are as men. We want our children to be smarter than us. We want them to be more successful than us. We want them to have more than us. You know, all of that. And our teachings reflect that in our children. But a lot of women are different. They want their children to be just like them. And in essence, it makes them worse. Because it's like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. Each time you make that copy, you lose more and more detail, more and more clarity. It gets patchier and grayer and spottier. So this is kind of what they do. They kind of make their children like them. So their children have a tendency to come out worse. They do. And every now and then you'll get a blip. You'll get a blip on the screen where a woman will say, okay, I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to have 5 kids by 5 different men. I don't want to, I don't want to be like her. I don't want to be without a husband and all that kind of stuff. I want to hear those 4 infamous words. Will you marry me? So it's like when you see one of those women, that's why you're shocked. Like you listen to a woman who talks about the things in a sense of logic and reason, we're taken aback. We never stop getting shocked by that. You notice that? Mm-hmm. When we get a woman like on our stream and she's talking with logic, we're shocked. Even if we've heard it like 10 times, because we've gotten so used to them being illogical. We've gotten so used to them, fantasizing and talking about all this unrealistic stuff that it shocks the hell out of us. So you do get those few women who are blips on the radar who say, I don't want to be like mama. But I think the overall majority of these women, they turn out just like their mothers, especially if their mother is old baby mama. She got 5 and 6 and 7 baby daddies. Kids grow up, man, and kind of live what they learn, man, And if you're a little girl and you watching your mama traipse men in and out the house, you watching mama never having a decent relationship, you're watching mama getting used and abused and all other kind of things by these different kind of men, you kind of start thinking to yourself, I would imagine, hey, this is what being a woman is all about. Having some kids, not having a husband. Having some more kids, not having a husband. Getting out there, shaking your tail until you're old enough where you can't do it no more, then possibly thinking about a husband. Because these women, when they're young and pretty and curvy and all that kind of stuff, and dudes want to lay them down and get them on their backs, They're not thinking about marriage. They're not thinking about family. They're not thinking about any of that. These are the same women who will tell you, I'm too young to get married. But you never hear them say, I'm too young to be somebody's mama. Now, they're too young to be somebody's wife, but they're not too young to be somebody's mama. Because it's like, on the surface, if you're looking at it on the surface, you would actually think that by having children, having your slut time and all that kind of stuff is like it's like a rite of passage or something for these women. You know, it's like they're not complete until they done had a kid or two by some random dude. They're not complete until they done, you know, rolled in the Mercedes of the most popular drug dealer on the block. You know, it's like they have these stupid rites of passages, right? That they utilize when they can. But once they get to the point where they cannot utilize those rites of passages anymore, you know, when they hit the wall, slap up against it and start sliding down it to the floor, now they're talking about family. Now they're talking about a husband. Now that they 5 and 6 and 7 kids in, the breasts have started to droop. The buttocks have sagged. The crow's feet have started to creep in. Now it's husband time, right? I'm gonna quote y'all something that my friend Sister Ali says all the time, right? And this has to do with, you know, as Brother Samuel says, you know, I'm a PhD thing, right?
Yeah.
Sister Ali tells me all the time. She says, white women go to college to find a husband. Black women go to college to prove that they don't need one. And see, that's the problem. A lot of times in black society.
That was bars right there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of times in black society, we do things in reverse. Because think about other cultures, you know, and other people say, oh, man, white people, this, that, and the other thing. But just look at it. The average white person, right? They go to school, go to college, they meet a man, they get their degrees and all that kind of crap. They get married, they buy a house, and they fill it with kids, right? Black people, we have a tendency to do it in reverse. Have kids young, early, when we broke and ain't got shit, all right? Struggle with them, right? Struggle with them and scrape and scrap and try to make a living, you know, so they ain't eating grass, you know? We don't got to feed them snow. And then once we get to be 35, 40, now we want to go back to school. Now we want to go to college. Now we want to get married. Now that we're 35 and 6 kids in the hole. That's reverse. Mm-hmm. That is reverse, man. We're doing it all wrong. And when you got women controlling black society for the most part, these are the scenarios you see repeated over and over and over and over and over all the time. Like I said before, man, you know, when I go to the supermarket, because you know I'm always looking for material when it comes to these old mamas, and I'll be walking around in there. I walk around in there with my wife, right? And, you know, you see these women, man, they got to be in their 60s and 70s. And, I mean, grandma can barely push the cart.
X, you be in there like you be in there like you bird watching, you just observing like you like a
Let me tell you something. My wife, because I don't go in the supermarket with my wife all the time, but every now and then she can beat me in the head, get me to come out in there, right? So I go in there, I'm walking around with her, you know, she's shopping and doing all that stuff, you know, and I'm pulling the cart. And I tell her, I'm like, well, you know, I'm only in here to collect material, woman. So while I'm in there, yeah, she'll tell you, I say it all the time. And while I'm in there, I watch, man, and, you know, I see a lot of older black women in there, like I said, in their 60s, 70s, and some like in their 80s. And grandma's pushing a cart, all right? Sometimes you walk down the aisle and you got these little old ladies saying, you know, son, can you reach that for me on the top? You know, because I'm a decent height. I'm 6'2", you know. So I reach and, you know, you grab these things for these old women and all that kind of stuff, and you see them pushing the cart. They barely getting along. They can barely load the grocery in the car, and they can barely get in the car because they can barely use their feet. And that these women, when they were younger, boy, they probably was something, boy. They had all these men running around trying to bang them. They probably had a few dudes who was willing to marry them, take care of them, but they never got with them. They never got with them. They got to be 35 and 40 years old and 5 kids in, and now they old and they by themselves. They didn't grow old with no man. They didn't grow old with no man. So now they're by themselves, doing everything by themselves. But there's hope, though, because every now and then I see an old couple in their 60s and 70s. And guess what Granny don't got to do? Granny don't got to load that cart. Granny don't got to push it. Granny don't got to load those groceries in the car neither. Granny don't even got to drive the car. You know why? Because OG got it. And when they get to the house, OG will get her old behind in the house. He'll put that grocery in the house, and all Grandma got to do is make her way to that stove every now and then and rattle a few pots for the OG, and the OG takes care of everything. He usually is the one that cleans the house. If something needs to get done around that house, the OG does it. And if he doesn't do it, he finds someone to do it. Because the key to life, man, what we supposed to do? We supposed to meet up, mate, raise kids, kids grow up, we grow old together. That's how it's supposed to be. Now, people will tell you that it's not supposed to be that way. But in reality, that is how it's supposed to be. And we have been convinced that it's not supposed to be that way. We've been convinced by the women. We've been convinced by men who were raised by said women that it's not supposed to be that way. That it's all right to be 35 years old and spend the next 40 years of your life alone. We've been raised to believe that that is true. That's how it's supposed to be. We've been raised to believe that women should be this total independent being, never have to come under the leadership of a man, never have to go along with a man, because a lot of us was raised by women who were like that. And they taught not only their daughters to be like that, they taught their sons to accept that. The whole stand in it thing. So until that's turned around, which I don't see happening in my lifetime, until that's turned around, man, this is what we're always going to see. We're not going to see this big old large influx of weddings going on. And I think the people who are going to change this dynamic, Brother Bernard, is men. Because if you want to see women that are cooperative, feminine, and understand what men are about, men are going to have to raise those women and bring them up. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to send those women out into the world. Because I'm a true believer that you can't change grown folks. We can try as hard as we want to try to change these women, make them think different, make them do different, make them see different, make them pick better men. It's not going to work, brothers. What brothers have to do, because brothers are going to be the ones to change it, not these women, okay? I mean, there's no way we can rely on the change to come from these old mamas.
Yeah,
all right?
That's why, some people either like or dislike when I talk about the importance of families. But yeah, if you're talking about everything that's wrong, how does it get right? You could say, okay, now we got to try to convince the men that are walking around here today that they need to do this, that, and the other thing. But a lot of them are set in their ways. A lot of these women are set in their ways. A lot of the problems may take a generation. I mean, there could be small incremental changes, but if you truly want to move the needle, and I mean move it far, it go back to kind of what you said. You got to raise up the type of people that you want to see. it starts from within. Shout out to Obsidian. It starts at home. And so I definitely agree with you on that. That's why it's important to talk about, that out of wedlock birth rate and all of that is important. That matters. We know the statistical outcomes of all of that. And so, yeah, it does start at home. Does definitely start at home. One thing that you brought up, you said a lot of stuff that I wanted to hop on, but when it comes to communicating with people right in here, right now, today, because in order for it to start at home, you got to move the needle on the mindset of a lot of people. And I think the needle on the mindset of a lot of men is being changed. And this space talks about all the time about what we shouldn't accept and what we shouldn't tolerate from women. And I think, people, like Kevin Samuels in particular, is moving the needle on how a lot of women are thinking and processing a lot of this stuff. What do you think about the concept of, when you're trying to say things to influence a culture to even think differently? What do you think about the whole thing? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And all of that. What are your thoughts on that? Because that's what we're hearing a lot of right now. When I was trying to get into my little diatribe, I didn't get all the way into it. A lot of people, I was getting distracted by the chat and whatnot, but whatever. But one thing I wanted to get into, how a lot of people that criticize what's being said, a lot of them aren't criticizing or not saying that it's wrong. They're not saying it's absolutely positively wrong. They're just saying, oh, I don't like how it's being said. Well, what do you think about that? That whole little argument that they throw out there. It's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it.
I think it's BS. But you're going to get that. If you're a man, you're going to get that. Mm-hmm. Because I'll go back to what I said before. We're indoctrinated to believe that we're supposed to talk to women a certain way, right? Women are the weaker sex. They are delicate little flowers that, you don't water with the water hose. You sprinkle it with a watering pot, that kind of nonsense. So, when a man, especially a heterosexual man, speaks, Let's talk about what it really is. A heterosexual man. When a black heterosexual man talks about something, and it's something that other black folks do not like, the first thing they want to do is attack the black man. They'll start talking about his looks. They'll start talking about, oh, you're gay. Oh, you hate women. You hate your mama. You hate black folks. They go right there. They never will address what you're talking about. It's always it goes right from that to what you look like. And you know why that is, right? Because a lot of us are raised by our mamas. And that's what your mama does. Your mama specializes in shaming language. Those of us who grew up with one of these old mamas, we know it to be true. We know that the person who shames us the most is her. It's her. So when you have people who come at you and shame you because of the way you're saying something, man, it's just a bunch of BS, because what they're really doing is conceding your point, because they're not telling you that you're wrong. They're not telling you that you're lying. They're not telling you that it's untrue. Now they go into attacking you personally. And we as black folks, like I said, we believe that we should be talking to women a particular way if we are heterosexual black men. Now, the homosexual black men, they can say whatever they want to black women, because most black women have a homosexual friend, which I find it quite odd. I'm talking to the homosexual friend right now, that your female, your woman friend that y'all are so tight and buddy, notice how she claims to not have a problem with the fact of you being homosexual, but she will use homosexual as a slur against a heterosexual man.
Hold on, so time out. Kevin Samuels brought that up on his show. He said most of y'all got a gay friend who will tell you any damn thing, but here I am telling y'all, hitting y'all with some hard, heavy hitting truth, and y'all trying to use the slander, trying to basically charge him up, trying to call him gay, as if that somehow discredits him. Like even even if he was from the perspective of, I mean, that would make men look at him differently, but even if he was from that woman's perspective that already got a gay friend who telling her any wild crazy thing as is, why how could they try to use that? How is black women of all people going to try to say that somehow discredits him? When y'all listen to y'all listen to a gay dude all day, so that was an interesting thing. Like even if what they charging him up with was true, from their perspective, it shouldn't matter. It's like they ain't cahoots with gay men, but they're also extremely homophobic against gay men. Like how does that even make sense?
Because, man, they live in two worlds, man. Because they say that for the simple fact that there is nowhere else to go. That's their fallback, man. That's that trump card they think they can throw at you. You know, they can throw that at you and say, oh, you're gay, right? But, okay, you're saying that I'm gay, but so is your best friend. So what are you really saying when you say that? What they're really saying is, you don't like a woman like me. Therefore, you must be homosexual, like my buddy. You must be homosexual, like those other homosexual guys who don't like me. Because believe it or not, in a lot of black women's mind, and like I said, I'm around a lot of them, these chicks, no matter what they look like, no matter how many damn kids they got, no matter how ran through they are, they still believe that they're everybody's type. Not only are they the thug on the corners type, they the type for Kevin Samuels. They're the type for the 6-figure, 7-figure dude. They believe they're everybody's type, no matter what they look like, what their background is, what their educational level is, how many baby daddies they got. A lot of these women believe that they're everybody's type. And that's just not true. Because believe it or not, all of us fall into a type. All of us do. And something that Brother Samuel says a lot, he's been saying for years, that most of us are just average people. I mean, we're not a bunch of dimes. This ain't a black society, ain't these dimes walking around as men and these dimes walking around as women. That's just not true. Some of us are just average. Some of us are average. A small percentage of us are really, really handsome. A small percentage of women are really, really beautiful. That's not everybody. The rank and file people, there's a lot of average people in there, and guess what? There's a whole hell of a lot of below average people as well. So we need to get used to that. And I think it bothers us. I think it bothers us that we are average or below average. Because I believe every woman want to think that she's pretty. But guess what? That's not true. Every woman is not pretty. Just like every brother wants to think he's handsome. But that's not true. Not every brother is handsome. But I think we got it in our mind that, if we think it enough, it can be. Because we got this vision in our head that whatever you want to be, you can be. Yeah, that applies for if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, all that kind of stuff. But just because you think you fine, that don't mean you're fine.
No, listen, man. With the whole little acceptance movement, whether we talking fat acceptance, whatever it is, it's clearly movements that want to try to change the whole paradigm. I don't know, they're trying to rewire people's brain to see certain things as beautiful or not beautiful, or this or that, or they got it in their head that I gotta find the clip. I probably need to get with Game Changer because he played a clip of a woman. It was about 4 average-ish looking women on the couch, some slightly below average, some right at average, some might be, slightly above, but I mean, they were average women. And keep in mind, that's not an insult. They're just regular, normal people. It's okay to be regular, normal people in the looks department. But they were talking about the whole thing of being black and their hair, a little splash of colorism, and all of that whole cocktail of everything. How they didn't feel good, they didn't have self-confidence, or they felt like all the boys on the playground were going on. They went all the way back to elementary school and middle school talking about how they didn't feel pretty. And one of them said something, and listen, I'm not even going to deal with somebody's lifelong hurt of not feeling pretty, but one of them said something that just was stunning, and I gotta find the clip of it. When one of them said to the other one, well, when did you give yourself permission to be beautiful? And I was like, permission? I'm sitting there like, I'm scratching my head like, I don't think that's how it works. I can't give myself permission to be 6'5". I that's not how it works. Now, something could be said about, when did you get to the point where, you felt confident and had belief in yourself and no longer had, low self-esteem about yourself. I mean, okay, I understand that. But no, they go beyond that, because, if you're not very attractive or you don't got all of this stuff going on, you still can have confidence. You still can get up in the morning and go out into the world like you're about to conquer it. I get that part of it. I get that. But they go beyond that and saying that no, all women are beautiful. And if you're talking about from within, okay, a fair discussion could be had about that. Yes, everybody can find their own inner beauty, but they're trying to flip all of that to the outside and saying that's how people need to see them on the attractiveness scale. And that's when it gets weird, and that's when it gets to the point where nobody can criticize where nobody can criticize a woman for having too high of a criteria or too high of a standard, but then simultaneously criticize the man's standards. That's when it flips into that really weird thing. But Coach Ali's Corner been sitting there for a while. I meant to read it earlier and then forgot, but Coach Ali always come through with the super chats and always come through dropping wisdom on us. He said, read the book, promises I can keep. We kind of moved on from that. We was talking about them old mamas. But he said, read the book, Promises I Can Keep, Why Poor Women Choose Motherhood Over Marriage. That'll confirm everything this good brother is saying. Absolutely. I haven't read that book. Obsidian has read a whole chapter of that book on his show before. So yeah, I mean, so I'm familiar with the book. Have not read it cover to cover, but I've seen, read, and heard Obsidian read snippets and tidbits from it. So there's that. But so yeah, that definitely from what I know about that book, it does confirm what X was saying. So thank you for that super chat. One thing I haven't done in a while is checked on the likes. We got 345 people in here, 199 on the likes. That's not bad on the likes. Let's try to get them up to 250. Let's get them up to 250. Hit the goddamn like button, as X normally says.
Oh, don't worry, I got you. Hit that damn like button on your way in the door.
Right on. You got the echo box going, man. I like it.
Yeah. I figured, I'd invest in a few more mics. Shout out to DJ Cooter. I bought a couple new more mics. And a board, and I got some stuff going on over here. So I've been playing with it. Playing / experimenting with it. Over the last couple of weeks. I'll get it figured out eventually.
I'm about to experiment with some new equipment and stuff. Right when I get off the air, I'm going to experiment with some new equipment.
Yeah, man.
I'm always dabbling around, buying a few things here, a few things there.
It's always good to tweak new equipment, man, and get some new stuff. I went out, I bought a new computer, all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to do some different things around here, man. And polish it up a little bit and give people some new looks. Some different looks. So. We'll see.
Right on. Definitely. What did I see in the chat? Ilonga Savage says they all can believe they're beautiful. We're not required to agree with them. It's not the end of the goddamn world to tell black women, yeah, right. Most brothers have been hearing that their entire lives. Let's touch on that one real quick. How, and that's something that we talk about in this space a lot. Brothers hear the truth quite often, harsh truth quite often, and when brothers get out of line, they normally face harsh penalty from being out of line. You know, that guy being reckless out there serial impregnating, it will catch up to him. Because at some point, he's going to get to the point where he's not going to be able to live off the grid. Ain't no woman going to let him sleep on that couch. His ass going to have to get a job. And I've seen that where somebody posted on Facebook when they finally went and got them a real job and they got their first check and they actually didn't get a check. They damn near had a bill, basically. And and when that happened, like it's gonna catch up to a dude. Not to mention you get pulled over, you go to jail for not paying the child support. So a dude living reckless out there, which I don't support or condone. Dudes living reckless out there, but they normally face harsh penalty when they live in reckless. They're breaking the law, they face harsh penalty. Men face penalty for bad actions and behavior. Women tend to believe that they shouldn't face as harsh of a penalty. There's actually data that shows that they don't face as harsh of a penalty for the same crime. And what we're seeing also play out is another subset of that they're not supposed to face social penalty. They're not supposed to be shamed for any bad behavior. Shame and critique is not supposed to be a thing. And one other thing that you can touch on too, because I know you mentioned how your sons are with, I think, Latino women. And I've heard other women talk about how shame is a normal thing. Like the job of the man is to work and, lead, protect, provide, and, do the things that, a man is basically supposed to do. But when it comes to the women being in line in the culture and being ultimately what these men want, that's really on the women, and they shame the hell out of each other when they get out of line, when they start doing this or they start doing that. Shame has been stripped from our culture. It's no shame. It's not ashamed. Nobody's ashamed of anything. So go ahead and speak on that. And I don't know if you got any personal experience, with your sons being with women of other races. Do you see different things going on in their culture? But just the overall thing I want you to speak on is how women can't be criticized. And when they can't be criticized, and that whole concept of women not shaming each other for the bad behavior, but when men do it, they're wrong. But then there is a percentage of men who's going to partake or be looters in the pussy riot from all that, or from the lack of shaming that's going on. So it just turns into a perfect cocktail of fuckery. And so go ahead. I think I put enough on the table for you to go ahead and deal with. I'm about to be listening to you because I got to actually step away for a second. Okay. I'm going to be able to hear you. Actually, I'm going to hold on. Where you? I'm tripping.
It's about to be the X takeover, folks.
Yeah. As soon as I get my buttons together. All right, there we go. I couldn't even figure out how to do that. I forgot how to do that. All right, about to be the X takeover for a minute. I'm sorry to put you on the spot with an X takeover.
It's all good. Okay, cool, I got it.
All right, I got to run upstairs for a minute. I'll be able to hear you though. So go ahead. You got the floor.
All right. Well, first and foremost, you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley up here in the morning. So make sure you hit that like button and drop a few coins in my man's Cash App. Hit those super chats. You know you like this stuff. Go ahead and show your love. You see that Cash App symbol scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and show Brother Bernard some love up in here, folks. But far as Brother Bernard's premise that he laid out before he stepped away, the reason why there is no shame, or should I say there's very little shame, it goes back to parenting. Now, people always tell me that I put too much emphasis on parenting, but I don't think so. I just don't think so, because those of you out there who had a father in your life, he was the one who implanted that shame in you. He was the one that said, hey, this is wrong. He was the one to tell you, look, this is how you're supposed to do things. And you saw that man as an authority figure. Why? Because he gave you a sense of shame. Shame is one of the few things that prevents you from doing crazy stuff, because you know the old man would not just discipline you, but shame you. Shame you if the act was egregious enough. Right? So what often happens, right, when it comes to women are used to being lied to, right? Because most of the dudes that are around these women are what? These are dudes that are trying to get them on their backs with their feet pointing to the sky. Let's be honest. Most of the dudes they deal with, that's what they want from them. So, of course, dudes lie to them and tell them all this kind of nonsense, right? Tell them all this kind of nonsense just to get them on their backs. But see, when you get brothers up here, not just brothers like Brother Samuels, but brothers in this medium collectively, many of us say the things we say because a lot of the women that we're talking to, we're not trying to screw them. I mean, you don't have to mince words with your daughter, right? You don't have to mince words with your daughter, because you're the one man in her life that, you don't expect anything from her but for her to have some integrity, some dignity, some honor. You expect those things from her. You don't expect anything else from her. And I think that's what it is. When a lot of these women grow up, they grow up around men that just expect things from them. Therefore, they have a lot of men around them that are doing what? They're lying to them. They're telling them anything they want to hear so they can get them in the bed, so they can get them on their knees, so they can get them on their backs. All right? This is what we have. We have a collective of folks, right? We have a collective of folks who lack fathers. Because let's be clear, man, there is a fathering problem inside of black society. We've been talking about it for I don't know how many years now. So that element of shame has not been carried on to the children. So when you grow up and become an adult, you don't have that element of shame, especially not as a woman, because most of us have been indoctrinated to believe that, guess what? You don't tell a woman anything. No matter what she does wrong, she's a woman, you go along with it. And if you do try to correct her, you must correct her with love, right? So if you have this kind of mind state within a society tends to falter. It tends to falter because you got one half of that society who are held to certain standards, held to certain responsibilities, held to this bar of actions, thoughts, words, right? And then you have the other half that is totally exempt from any of that. And somehow we're supposed to have balance between those two things. What sense does that make? It's never gonna make any sense when you want to hold one half of the population to a standard and then hold the other half of the population to a totally different standard. Now, don't get me wrong. I know men and women are different. We're not going to think alike. We're not going to act alike. We're not. I get that part. But at the same time, in some instances, we have to have an even footing, especially when it comes to accountability, culpability, and responsibility. I think we should be pretty much on the same level when it comes to those three things. We should be on the same level. All right? If you want to knock a brother who got 5 baby mamas, I expect you to knock a woman who has 5 baby daddies. All right? If you're going to knock a brother who's still living in his mama's basement, you better knock that woman who got 4 and 5 babies and still living in her mama house. You know, when it comes to things like that, the standards have to be similar. They have to be. Especially those people out there who are always talking about the future, talking about the future of black society. We know that the future of black society is who, man? Who? The children. That's what kills me. It's like we act like children are non-consequential, man, when it comes to black folks' future. And I think that that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. We want to change the future of people who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, but we never talk about the people who are 2, 3, 4, and 5. That doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. We study trying to save people. We're trying to save people who are beyond saving. We're trying to raise people who are 35. Newsflash, folks. If you're 35, there's no way we can raise you. You are beyond raising. If any change that's going to take place in you, it's going to be initiated by you, not by me, not by Brother Bernard, not by Brother Samuels, and not by YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat. And if these things are raising you, that is probably your problem. I just don't get it. I don't understand it.
Right on. Drop bombs. Bombs dropped. Counselor Murray in the building with the super chat. I'm looking at something. Hold on. Hey, I go easy with the time. What the heck did Jesse get timed out for? Okay, I don't know what's going on. I can send you. Okay, fair enough, I guess. All right. Whatever. Yeah, caught the end what you said. I wasn't able to listen as much when I was up walking around doing what I was doing, but I did definitely catch the end of what you were saying. And yeah, it's almost like at the risk and expense of being corny, it is a thing where, you know, what about the children? That's why I can't really rock with the dudes who on here look that. I mean, okay, when I understand. Well, this is one problem I have. And this is sort of segueing off into another subject. I gotta click on that real quick. I might have to touch on that. It kind of segues into another subject when I'm talking about it. And what Soul Provider got on the screen sort of alludes to that too, because there's some people who are talking about, you know, walking away and going their own way, which I have no problem with. But I'm one of the I criticize men for not fighting for the kids. And I've heard good arguments that if you got to be fighting for them and going through all the legal process of getting your kids and all of this and all of that, are they really your kids? They're clearly hers because she got them. You got to pay thousands of dollars and fight for access to them. If you got to do all that, are they your kids? They're clearly hers. And so some people have said, okay, I'm going to take that and I'm going to walk away. You're going to feel the sting of what it is that you're fighting for. You want me gone? I'm gone. You know, and so there's that. That's what some people have said. And I can't get in the car and ride with that one. I want fathers fighting for children. I don't blame fathers for the separation, for the breakup. That's another thing I don't like. I don't like when we just outright blame fathers for the separation of the family, as if the woman can't end a relationship. As if a woman can't for stupid reasons end a relationship when there's children involved. and I hate that we even talk about it and break it down like that, and the man just gets charged up with leaving a family, as I stated before, even when there's marriages and there's what is considered to be the ideal family. Women are filing a divorce at an 80% rate. So we can tend to believe that they're ending these relationships at a similar rate. So I don't like when men get charged up just for the separation of a family or the brokenness of relationships or marriages and all of that. I don't like when men get charged up for that one. But there is something to be said about once that happens, what men need to do in that situation to fight to do what they got to do to get to get custody on that. And I've been through that fight. It was a hard, grueling fight, cost thousands of dollars, but I fought it and I won. But it's a really hard fight. So I understand the mindset of some dudes that just say, the hell with it. I can't go there because where I'm at with it. I'm going to fight to the bloody end. Soul Provider, semi-trolling, but semi-dropping some truth in there, where he says, Soul Provider speaks says, raise the kids, nah, niggas pumping and dumping, remember? Yeah. Pumping and dumping, if you just narrow that down to just plain old, good old-fashioned, not really old-fashioned, good old recent casual sex, then I got no problem with it. When children come from that, then it can be a problem. So that's where I'm at with that. And my man Mel Enlightenment TV says Litecoin is $74 and is predicted to go to 1,000. To go to 1,000 to 1,200 in 2021. He said I just dropped 6 racks. I'm dropping 1,000. I'm getting with you, and I'm figuring out how to do that. I don't even know how or where to drop the money on it. But that's what I'm dropping. That's what I'm dropping it on. I'm dropping 1,000 on that. I need your tutelage. I'll be contacting you.
Me too. METV, man, hit me up, man. I sent you an email the other day, man. I'm trying to get you on the stream, brother. Hit me up.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely going to be following that brother's advice and tutelage on that. Yeah, I'm definitely getting with you. I don't know about dropping 6 racks on it. I got one for it. I got one. But he said, let's get this money, B. Riley. Crypto gang in the building. Leave them chicks alone and let's win this game. Shout out to Male Enlightenment TV. But all right, as far as what I laid out on the table there, what's your thoughts on that X?
Well, I agree. I mean, because
Melody in the building with a super chat. Appreciate your Melody. Shout out to you. Thanks always coming through. Appreciate you. Go ahead, X. You got it.
I agree. All right, because I know, like we all do, we know brothers who have children and they went through hell with them. I know. I fought for custody of mine when they were small, so I get it. I've lived it.
Wait, hold on. Time out. Because when you say you've been married 22 years, I'm assuming you got married, and that's when you. So your kids that you're talking about, because I think you got how many sons? 3?
Got two sons. 2 sons, okay, 2 daughters.
So they were before the marriage then.
Yes.
Okay, and your daughter?
The X.
Okay, all right. So yeah, all right. Go ahead. I might have to interview you about that process right now.
Yeah.
I didn't know
it's a long story, man, you know. But you know, you think that you know, my ex, we got together when we were young. You know, we were really young, and you know, we were together for a long time. I mean, we were together like almost 12 years, I believe. We were going to, let me change that. No, I, you know, wanted to get married at that time. But it never panned out. So, you know, we started.
Why didn't it pan out? Because the conventional wisdom is women always want to get married. Of course we want to be married. But here you are in a situation where you wanted to get married to a woman who I'm assuming you had kids with at the time.
Yes.
You wanted to marry her.
Yes.
So how does that work? She got a man. you're a hard-working business-owning man now, so you probably didn't own a business then, but I'm going to assume
I
you are a
was just
hard-working, intelligent
just a
brother.
regular old 9 to 5er.
That's cool. It's cool. You were a hard-working brother. Clearly, you had to display some type of intelligence because you're intelligent now. So clearly you're an intelligent, hard-working brother who had children by this woman, and you wanted to marry her. Why didn't she want to marry you? What was the deal with that?
Well, in the beginning, she feigned, and I use the word feigned literally, like she did, and we were engaged. It seemed like forever. Like I said, we were together almost 12 years. We got engaged 4 years into it. And, as the kids start to come along, it became more and more of a thing. It became more and more of a thing for us to, get married. But we grew apart, man. We weren't growing together. We were growing apart. And to be honest with you, man, I didn't think she was a good enough mother. I raised my kids primarily by myself because during that time, I had put her through school. I paid for her schooling. She went off and became a clinical aide. I paid for her to go to school.
All of that happens a lot too with a lot of these black women who be bragging on their education quite often while they were getting that education, because a lot of them, they don't just go right to school, graduate high school at 17 or 18 and then go quick, get 4 years out the way real fast and walk across the stage with a bachelor's at 21. No, that's typically not how it happens. They normally
I was a simp when I was younger. I was a simp guy when I was younger.
No, but the point that I'm making is that, like, my ex-wife, she was able to get her degree largely in part because she had me, and she was able to, work part-time while going to school, and I'm working 60 hours while she's, going to school, working less hours and going to school. That happens a lot. That education that they always try to throw in our face, they normally got it while they was with a man who was being a work mule while they was trying to get education so they can not be on his level and then not need him no more.
Yeah, exactly.
That happens all the time.
Yep. Let me tell you something. I worked 2 jobs. I worked a full 9 to 5, and I also worked a part-time job in the evenings. So she could go to school. And of course, when you're like that and you are with the woman and y'all have kids, you also serve as a helpmate with the children. If you have small children during that time, guess what? The kids have to be somewhere while she's in school. They're not with her, so usually they're with you. Yep. They're with you while she's in school.
So my work day ended, I came home and was with your mom.
Yep, exactly. After you come straight from work, and she went to school she left early in the morning, and I was working overnights. I was working like a 10 to 6:30, and she would go to school at like 7 o'clock. So as soon as I came home from work, I got to come in, get the kids ready, make them breakfast, because she's going out the door as I'm coming in. So she's going out. So guess what? You have to get the kids off to school. You have to make them breakfast, get them bathed, take out their clothes, and do all that shit soon as you come home from work. After working an 8-9 hour shift, you have to come home and get your babies ready. Because guess what? When you are a man that loves your children, man, you will do anything for your babies. You will do anything. Taking care of them is nothing, even if you haven't slept since yesterday. When a man loves his children, man.
We was a real life Babyface song, man. That soon as I get home from work.
Yep. Straight. Because us young guys, what a lot of people don't know, man, a lot of us young guys were simps, man, back in the day. We were simps for these women, man. We just were. And see, having kids by them made you more of a simp, because chances are you probably loved your kids more than you loved her black ass. So You were willing to do whatever it took for your babies. All right. Even compromise your time, compromise things you wanted to do. You did that kind of stuff for the sake of your babies. And I'll say again, I go back to mothers and fathers, man. The difference is, I think men, we're willing to sacrifice more for our children. We put up with these crazy ass women for our children, man. Because a lot of times we would leave these women in the dust, man, if it wasn't for our babies. We would walk right the hell away from them, man, if it wasn't for our babies. We don't want our babies to suffer. We don't want to leave our babies because we know what lies ahead of us, right? We walk out, we're going to lose access to our kids, right? We ain't going to be able to see them as much. We're not going to see them when they get off the bus. We may not be able to take them out for their birthday, eat dinner with them, help them with their homework. We are not going to be able to do that kind of stuff if we just walk away. Because let me tell you something. When me and her split, all right, I had wanted to split 5-6 years before that. But see, what happens is you use your children as a reason to stay, and after X amount of time, they're not a reason anymore. They become an excuse to stay. And once they became an excuse for me to stay, I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. And it sounds like a cliche, I'd rather my kids have one happy parent as opposed to two miserable parents. But what often happens, you go off, right? And she's not happy, right? So they left there with one miserable ass parent now instead of two. And she tries to make it her business to make you miserable as well by proxy through your children. She will use your children to make you miserable just like her. Because see, now that she's got it in her head that you don't want her anymore and she can't hurt you anymore. So what does she fall back on? She falls back on the one thing that she has that you care about. You don't care about who she dates. You don't care about her old funk box no more. But you do care about those little people who fell out of it. And she knows that. So she uses that to try to make you miserable just like her, man. That's how it usually happens.
You said funk box. That's I don't care about that funk box no more.
Yeah, you don't care about it anymore.
Mr. Shane Vicious said, "Oh, he was a utility and he served his purpose." That's a thing. That's a thing. You working while they getting that education, and now now you ain't on their level no more. Yep.
I had my kids when I was young, man. I was a young dude, you know.
Black Buddha in the building says, "Wow, that's exactly what happened to my brother. Ex-wife used my brother's pristine credit to get a car, a master's degree, and bounced. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing, but nope. Men are just leaving their families. Nope.
Yeah.
Men are just walking out on their families. Okay. Mr. Shane Vicious, he says, people think I'm odd because I'm child free. No, I don't think you're odd because you're child free. You need to stay child free, all the pumping and dumping you talk about. And, shout out to him. He said it had a vasectomy. Hey, you did it. I applaud anybody that the men who passionately want to stay single, but they're still out getting it in with the ladies. Vasectomy. They are reversible if you change your mind, but vasectomy. That should be almost mandatory.
I ain't mad at him.
And I hate to say that because they say, "Oh, well, you killing a race by doing it." No. People who don't want children need not to be having children. I take quality over quantity in a lot of cases when it comes to people. So that's kind of Hitler-ish, but those that don't want children need to not be having them. I'm a firm believer in that. So a man who out there single, living a casual sex life, got a vasectomy, you're doing it right. You're doing it right. So I can't knock you. I can't knock you for that one. And hold on. Let me scroll back up. Give me a second. Melody, I didn't miss your super chat. I shouted you out. What you mean? You missed my super chat. But nah, Riley, I said like the stream. with a bunch of hearts. I saw it. I shouted you out. You just trying to get some more attention. That's all. You know you heard me shout you out. Cut it out. Cut it out. But but no, shout out to Melody. She always drop a super chat and say like the stream. I did shout it out. At least I think I did. I'm pretty confident I did. But where we at? We got Chief BD in the building. He said no good deeds goes unpunished. Never be the frog carrying the scorpion across the water. And there she goes back at it again with a super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate you. And Dane Christopher dropping the links right there. Got the football in there. Yeah, I do. I can't wait to watch some football. Got a new TV that I mounted up in my room. I bought a 70-inch Vizio. Don't ever buy a Vizio. That thing it looked like a TV from 20 years ago. The picture quality was terrible. But so I took that back, got a new one that they just delivered. Got a Sony, mounted it up. It's looking good. Got a big ass 65-inch in a relatively small bedroom. So it just feel like I'm at the movies when I'm watching the game. So yeah, I had to do a little commercial for Sony TVs. I like them. But where was we at? I think I damn near cut you off. What was we talking about? Where was we at? We was you was telling your story.
Yeah.
On how
well, just giving a brief synopsis of it because you know, and I could talk about that for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know. Trust me, I know. I've had to make myself not talk about my story as much. Shout out to Kevin Samuels because he always say he don't talk about his exes, and that is a fair point.
Yeah.
You don't be.
I stay away from that kind of stuff because you know that is so far in my past that I can't even see it anymore.
Yeah.
So you know my life is totally different now. First and foremost, it is better, but you know, it's so far behind me now that I don't, you know, all my children are adults now. You know, all of them are adults. I'm a grandfather, so.
How old are you?
I'll be 52 next week.
Okay, yeah. I had to question your age for a second because you basically lived 2 lives. If you was with one woman, you said 12 years, and then married to another one 22 years.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, a lot of us do. A lot of guys my age, you know, I mean, that's what we live. I mean, a lot of guys have 2 different sets of kids. A lot of guys, you know, they've had 2 wives, 3 wives, you know. I mean, you know, when you get with a woman when you're young and you stay with her for a while, that's one life that you have. And then when that life ends and you move on to something else and marry someone else, that's another life you create, technically. I mean, you've created another life. You've created another family. You're doing different stuff. You're in a different part of the world. So, you know, some guys have done this 3 times. You know, I know guys who's been married 3 times, you know, and a set of children with each wife, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, that, you know, I didn't have that experience, but, you know, it happens. And, you know, I don't want to blame it on being young, but what I will blame it on is being naive at the time. When I was a young guy, I didn't really know what I wanted. You know, I went off to school. I went off to a technical college when I was like 17. And when I came back from college, I mean, I met my ex like soon as I got back from school. You know, as soon as I got back, and, you know, she was fine and all this kind of nonsense. And next thing you know, kids is popping out, you know, and we ain't even 20 yet. Neither one of us is 20, but kids are popping out. So, you know, you go through that stage, and, you know, and it's crazy because I came from a lineage of marriage. You know, my parents were married 56 years when my father died. So I knew what it was about to be married. I knew what it was about to have a family. You know, I got 4 older brothers and 4 sisters. There were 9 of us. So I know what it's like coming from a big family out of a marriage to see a long-term marriage and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't like I didn't have the tools or the teaching or the tutelage for a life. I just wasn't following it. I wasn't following the blueprint. when I was younger. I just wasn't. I didn't start following the blueprint till I was like 28.
Yeah.
You know?
When it came to the woman that you ended up that you married, well, no, the one that you're married to now.
Mhm.
Now I know it's easy to just chalk it up to, hey, I was young then and I was older when I got with the wife with your wife. So you was
Mhm.
older when you got with her. So the whole selection process was different. So I was going to ask,
Yeah.
well, what did you see in the one that you with now that worked out and been married 22 years? What did you see in her different that you saw that you just say you didn't see in the one that it didn't work out with? But it could come down to just, I was 18, 19 and she was fine and that was the only criteria. It's just you saw a hot piece of ass.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much back then. But you
Yeah.
know, when I split with my ex, when me and her split, I was by myself for a while, man. I stayed away from women, man. You know, I just worked, you know, tried to stack my money and stay to myself, you know, because I just felt like I needed to get myself together first. You know, I was always under the belief that the last thing you need to do when you get out of a long-term relationship is get into another relationship. So I didn't want to do that. Um, my brother had a condo, and he was like, "Yo, bro, you know, come stay with me," you know, because I was staying with one of my boys, you know, because I just left, and you know, she kept the house and all that kind of crap, and I moved in with one of my boys, and I stayed there with him for a little while. And my brother, once he found out, you know, that I was away from the ex, he was like, "Come stay with me, bro. I got a
Hold on,
condo."
time out, real quick. Someone is saying in the chat, young is an excuse. I don't think we chalked it up to an excuse. He tried to make it work for 12 years, and he just explained everything he did in the process while trying to make it work. He was working hard, paying all the bills, being Mr. Mom, put her through school while
Mhm.
working, getting off work and being Mr. Mom while she out chasing an education. He was doing everything right, regardless as if he made the decision wrong initially. He still did everything right in the process. So I don't think this is no excuse making going on here. Somebody spent 12 years fighting to do everything to make it right, and then after it went wrong, fought for custody, got custody, won custody, and now is married and raised children with the woman that he's married to. This ain't this excuse making network. So I
No,
don't know
absolutely not.
why you came in here with that. Do you talking to two men who did, you know, I got married young. He didn't get married. He was trying to get married. She didn't want to get married, but he still did everything as if he was a husband, much like I did everything as if I was a husband. It didn't work out. And we both fought for custody of the kids, and we both are. He's married now. I'm in a happy relationship. So no, this ain't the excuse making network. Any problems that me and brother X had, we rolled up our sleeves, did what we had to do to right the ship. So no. So I rebuke what you're trying to throw out there. All right.
Yep. And the crazy thing is, you know, when I left, I wanted to take my kids with me, man. I didn't want to leave my kids there with that woman, boy. I mean, that hurt me more than anything else, leaving them behind. I wanted to take my babies with me, but I understood that I had to first get myself stable. You know, I had to fix me first, get a stable place to live, and get my shit together. Then, when I did that, I came back with a vengeance because I wanted my babies, man. I came back with a vengeance because I wanted to just leave. I wanted her to just go somewhere, and when she coming back, me and the kids were just gone. that's what I was thinking, you know, because I wanted my babies with me, because that's one thing I understood, that they would be better off with me. I always felt that way, you know, but I had to get me right first. First, you know, and once I got me right, that was it. So, you know, but far as my wife now, it's different. I mean, when I met my wife, I was a little older. I had a better understanding of relationships. And, you know, I say again, you know, I moved in with my brother and into his condo with him. And, you know, for a while there, you know, it was like a brothel, you know, because my brother, he didn't have no wife or nothing. So, you know, we was both there, and you know,
Oh.
it was just a whole house for like a long
Hey.
like a long time. It's just a whole house, man. I mean, you know,
I can-
chicks there.
I can get with that. I can
Yo,
get with
chicks-
that.
Chicks there every day, chicks on the couch, chicks in the bedroom, chicks outside in the parking lot, like all of that. Girls fighting in front of the house, the whole nine. The whole nine. You gotta break up fights in front of the house. You know, all that stuff was going on, man, you know, during that time. Yeah, all that was going on. But when I met my wife, it was different, man. Cause she was different from all the other women that I had dealt with. I had dealt with a lot of women, and you know, she just had some respect. She had respect in her game, man. The first time she showed up to my house, man, because I used to always kind of assess. You know, I used to assess women, you know, and see how they acted when they came to your house. You know, a lot of chicks would come to the house, they walk right in, walk across the carpet, you know, with the shoes on and the boots on and all kind of stuff. And I'd have to tell them, look, man, you know, you got to take your shoes off when you come here. You know, that kind of stuff. The first time she ever came to my house, man, she walked right in, man, and she just took her shoes right off like she just knew what to do. And I was like, wow, you know. And the next time she showed up with 2 bags of groceries and was like, you know, I'm gonna cook us some dinner, and I hadn't asked about it or nothing. It was just something she did, man. It was just something about her, man. The way she was, it was like, damn, you know, this girl is different, you know. And she was very feminine. She wasn't loud. She wasn't obnoxious. She asked me what I thought about stuff. All right. And at the time when I met my wife owned her own business already. Owned it. All right. Me, I was just a working stiff. She owned her own salon when I met her. So she probably could have got any old dude, you know. And the way she acted, you would have never been able to tell it. The way she carried herself, the way she spoke, you know, how she was. I mean, I was like, I think I'm going to keep her around. So when she, you know, because when we first met, when she first started coming around, you know, I had a couple other women, you know, that would come around, and you know, her presence, man, just kind of beat the other women out, because when they start to come around, I start comparing them, and I was like, damn, she don't do this crazy mess that you do. You know, I don't have to tell her to take off her shoes when she come in my house. I start comparing them. So I slowly start getting rid of the hoes. I was like, okay.
That's kind of what happened. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I slowly start getting rid of them. I was like, because y'all don't add up to this here. And I think this here is what I like and what I want. So you just stop coming over. Don't ever come over again. You know, I start making phone calls. I start making those painful phone calls like, look here, girl, don't come to my house no more. You know, that's straight up like that. Like, look, don't come here no more.
It's a weird situation. It's like you almost got to break up with somebody you ain't in a relationship
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
Like they were still texting me, and I'm like, hey, you notice I haven't been really responding to your texts lately. Kind of, it's like you don't want to have an uncomfortable, weird conversation.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't my woman, but I guess, okay. I mean, I guess since I've stuck my penis in you before, so I guess we do got to do a formal exit interview. Okay, let's
Yep.
let's go through the process.
Yeah, we gotta have that final talk. You know, you can't leave it open ended. You know, you gotta tie up that loose end. You're like, look here, girl.
Yeah.
And you always get why? Just look. You know,
yeah, and that's the funny part too. They could be okay with all the casual sex and never said nothing about a relationship, never had the talk, never wanted to have the talk. They were just having a day, just a happy old time, just But then when that happy time wants to come to an end, and then they're like, "I love you," and I'm like,
Yeah.
like no,
What? What?
huh?
No, you just love having a place to come and get naked. That's all you really. Yeah, you know, you got to make those phone calls and say, "Look here, girl, don't come over no more. You know, I don't want to see you. You know, none of that. You know, you had to make a few phone calls because I had quite a few. You know, when you were a single man, you know, and then it got a little crazy at one time because see, my brother actually moved out and he left me the condo. He moved out and he went off and got married.
Mm-hmm.
He met a girl and got married. And it's like, look, man, the condo yours, bro. You can have this thing. So now it's just me in the condo. I got the condo. So, you know, I had to, you know, sever some ties with some chicks, you know, and it was quite a few that was used to just kind of showing up, you know, whenever they wanted, you know, whenever they was ready to, you know, get on their backs, just kind of showing up. So I had to, you know, put a stop to that because I liked her being around more than I liked the other women being around, you know? And, you know, as we start to get more and more serious, I was like, you know, I don't even want those other women coming over here anymore. You know, I don't want y'all coming over here anymore. I don't want her walking in and catching y'all here. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't really have anything to do with me. It's because I liked her so much that I didn't want to do that to her. I was like, I don't want her to catch y'all up in here. Nah. Because there was a couple times when she came over, because when she first started coming over, I still had, you know, maybe 2 or 3 other chicks that was coming around. And once or twice chicks had showed up while she was there. And I would have to come to the
Wait
door.
a minute,
like,
wait, okay, wait, time out. You're a little older than me. Like, was that a thing? People just dropped in on you, like back in the day, people didn't call, or I mean, obviously you couldn't text back then, but people didn't call before they came. They just popped up at the door.
Well, this was the thing. When me and my brother had the condo, right? It was always like we should have had installed one of those, you know, saloon doors on the front door. Because, you know, chicks in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out.
So your house was like the spot. Just people just randomly showed up.
Yeah, chicks just was around like all the time. All the time. It was nothing for me and my brother to have a woman in the bedroom and then there's another woman sleeping on the couch. I mean, it was nothing. That happened all the time. It happened all the time. It was nothing for you to have a woman in your bedroom sleep, chicks on the couch sleep. You know, just, it was a time, man, when I had 3 chicks at the house for me at one time. I had one in my bedroom, I had one in the living room, and one pulled up outside that I didn't want to see, and I had to make her leave. So, I mean, that was nothing. It was nothing for chicks to be around. It was like that for my brother, too.
I can't claim that experience. I ain't never, I ain't have it like that. It was have it like that.
It was crazy. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. It was like a brothel. It was like a damn it's like a brothel over there, you know? And you know, you had to kind of curb the activity. You had to curb the activity, especially once my brother left and I had the condo to myself. You know, that craziness like never stopped. You know, it was like that for a while. But as I start to get serious with my now wife, you know, she would be there sometimes and chicks would show up. They would show up and you have to come, you know, to the door and be like, look, girl, you can't come up in here. You know, and they'd be like, why? Is she in there? Is she in there? You know, that kind of stuff. You know, so, you know, you got to kind of curb that stuff. You got to kind of stop them from coming over. You know, because some chicks, you tell them not to come and they still show up to your house. You be like, don't come over here, girl. And tomorrow they're at the door. Oh, why you don't want me to come over? Because I knew you would come over and do this. That's why. Yeah, they knocking at the door the next day. You done told them yesterday, look, girl, don't come here. The next day, why you don't want me to come over? What? What? So, you know, all that aside, though, to be honest with you, the reason why my wife and I got married is because I felt like that I had grew up. All right? I was creeping up, right? I was creeping up on 30, all right? And I felt like I had did enough running around. I had enough sex, all right? Did enough of that, right? And I wanted to be, I wanted to be with someone, because what a lot of people don't know, and a lot of brothers probably will not admit this, but I'm going to tell this secret anyway. If you're a brother or brothers that's living by yourself, you got women in and out. You got all kinds of women coming through. I don't think there was a night that I couldn't have been with 1 or 2 women per night if I wanted to. And I always had chicks around, but when I had all
the same time, or
Yep.
just wow,
at the same time too. I did some of that too. But you always have women around, but man, that's one of the loneliest times of your life. With all those women around you, it was one of the loneliest times of my life, even though I had women around all the time.
See, I didn't feel lonely when I was single. I've heard people say that it's you're lonely when you live in that life. I didn't feel that, and it's probably just because I'm an introvert. I like being by myself, but and just having somebody come over here and there was cool. So I didn't get that feeling. I didn't get that feeling of loneliness. That's something that I'll never understand when people say that it's a lonely feeling. It's just not my experience, or I should say not the feeling that I had when I was single. I greatly enjoyed it. I greatly enjoyed it when I was just completely single. In the same house I'm living in now. Same house I'm living in now. I have a chick over here and there. Sometimes it was more traffic than others. Sometimes the traffic will get slow. Sometimes it was slow down. I didn't have it like that where separate chicks that I met in separate places. One of them just in the couch on the couch just chilling while I'm in the bed with another one. I ain't never had it like that. It was a time when I got 2 of them together.
So you never did the menage a trois thing?
No, I did that.
Oh, okay, okay.
It was a big event. Put it like that. It was a big event that I got 2 chicks that I was messing with separately. I got them together at the same time in the same place, and then pulled it off. But it was never a situation where multiple women just at my house all 3 of them there for me, and they just chilling, just chilling. I don't know, waiting turn. I don't know. I feel like they it's not like you told them to take a number when they came in.
Yeah, well, it's always better. Now, brothers might disagree with this, but it's better when you get into stuff like that. The chicks should not know each other like that. If you got 2 chicks who know each other, it's different. If the 2 chicks don't really know each other, it's just kind of better. It's more exciting when they don't know each other. At least that was my experience, where they don't really know each other, but they both deal with you, and you can kind of shape that into happening. That's pretty rewarding.
I shaped that into happening one time.
Yeah, it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding.
Yeah, it is. It is. But for me, for the most part, it was normally like a regular a chick that that I messed with, periodically, once or twice a week. She would be like the regular mainstay, consistent one. Then another one that was probably once a week. That was probably, I guess, the number 2 chick. And then periodically you would meet like different women out and about, and then sometimes somebody else would end up coming over, and then it was like something that came over one time, once or twice, and then that kind of faded away. So normally when guys said he got a rotation, for me it was always really technically just 2 chicks, and then there was some other ones that may pop on the scene 1 month and then not disappear for 2 months and then come back. In this whole text message world, you and a chick could have messed around 6 months ago, then if she just start randomly sending you a text message and so forth and so on, and then y'all get back on for a few weeks, and then she disappear again. It's like I used to be like, man, some chicks they have a guy in their phone that they go hook up with, when they in between boyfriends and stuff like that. I'm sitting there trying to figure out, I wasn't asking about their business and whatnot, but I'm sitting there like, okay, is her and her man going through problems? She then started back texting for a whole week and then came through and then
Mhm.
just fell off the face of the earth for like 6 months, and then so it normally be a situation like that where you'll end up having a fairly
You have
active sex life while single when you
Oh,
if
absolutely.
yeah.
And when I talk about the lonely part, it didn't have anything to do, with the women really, man. I missed my babies. I didn't have my babies around. Even though I had, all these women and I was having fun and hanging out and all this kind of nonsense, I didn't have my babies around. So, I think what I did when I first moved out and, went and me and my brother lived together. Then eventually, I had the condo. I think I missed my kids a lot. And I was trying to fill that hole, with the women. And that shit didn't work.
Mm.
That shit didn't work.
That's probably why you felt some type of way about it.
Yeah, didn't work, man.
I get that. I get that. You was filling a void, having that full house.
Yeah, man.
Being at a house that was a spot where people coming and going, and you felt like, I guess I can.
Yeah, it didn't work. And I was catching a lot of heat. I wasn't seeing my babies the way I wanted to. I was always, it was always some old BS. And I was like, you know what? Forget this. I'm getting my babies. I'm getting them.
Were you married by the time that you ended up getting your kids back, or?
In the beginning, no. This started right before. I mean, me and my wife, we eventually got married afterwards, but the fight started before because it didn't happen overnight, man. It took a while, man. Like, the court, the nonsense, going through the trials and tribulations with their mother, and I mean, man, you know how this goes. You know how the story ends. The spending of the money, the missing of work. Because when I first started out, I just went for visitation, right? I didn't go for all out custody in the beginning. In the beginning, I just went for visitation. And that was a problem. She wasn't bringing the kids the way she's supposed to. I couldn't come and get them. I was supposed to have them 1 week or 1 weekend, and she wouldn't show up, or she wouldn't have them, there, or it was always something, because at first I wasn't like, okay, I'm just gonna take them. That wasn't the deal in the beginning. I just wanted to be able to see them. I wanted them to come stay at my house sometimes, that kind of stuff. I didn't go straight in for custody. I didn't go straight in for that. I went in for custody because the visitation, was falling short, and I was catching problems on that. And I was like, screw this, man. I got tired of it. I was like, screw this. That's what made me go in for the kill, because I was getting shorted on seeing them.
Yes, no, yeah, definitely hear you on that. Mr. Shane Vicious in the building says easier to deal with multiple women if they are bi. Okay, I didn't know what he was talking about. That's don't get me started on bi women. Well, not bi women. It's the ones that they claim not to be. That's the part that's just so weird. Like the one of the chicks that I had my menage thing with, she would say with a straight face she wasn't bisexual. The same person, even after she did, the thing with me and another chick twice, she would also tell me a story. Very, this was after the fact. She would tell me a story how her and her friend, after they would go out and they would end up, at the same house, they, afterwards, whatever stuff, they would, you leave drunk and y'all go to the same house, no need dropping one off and then the other one going somewhere else. They would sleep at the same place wherever they ended up at. And she said they would end up doing the thing together with each other. And even after that, she would still turn around and say, with a straight face in a completely separate conversation a month later, she would say, I'm not bisexual. I'm like,
wait a minute. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. It's like they are, but they just will not claim it. It's like,
Yeah, man.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Well, you know how this goes, man. You know, as much as things change, they stay the same, right? Because if you go back in the day, you know, like you said before, you know, we were all rocking sky pagers back then. You know, there was no texting there. You know, if you had a cell phone, you know, you had a little bit of money because you couldn't get one unless you had a credit card or some nonsense like that. And you look at things now compared to then, you go through the same crap now that you would go through then. It's just that you go through it quicker now because you got social media and YouTube and Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter and all this kind of nonsense. But it's the same old crap. It's just happening to you quicker. It's happening in quicker time, in real time. You're going through the same stuff, man, that you went through 15, 20 years ago, especially when it comes to women and how you deal with them and all that kind of stuff. If you look at how you dealt with, you know, guys my age, all right, guys in their 50s, if you look at how you dealt with women, say, 30 years ago, right, and then you fast forward to now, you have a tendency to deal with the same things. It's just that you can resolve it quicker because you got social media, you got a cell phone, you got all this and that. Back then, you couldn't do it, you know. If you was calling somebody, you had to stop and call them at a payphone if you was in your car. You know, that kind of stuff. You're dealing with the same things, man. You're dealing with the same old crap. You're dealing with the same old attitudes. You know, you're dealing with the same old delusions of grandeur. You know, the same things that you watched your mama do when you was a kid. You have experienced some of those things done to you as an adult. You've experienced some of them, especially if you had one of these old mamas. You deal with the same things that you saw your mother do to other brothers. It's the same old stuff. It's just now it's different because media has interjected and affected black folks, and I think in a more detrimental way than any other group of people, than any other demographic of people. I think media has hurt us more than it's hurt anybody. So, I mean, not only has it made things, kept things kind of the same as they were, they've made a lot of these things worse because now we all get a window in to the dysfunction now. The dysfunction used to be hidden. You had to be there. You had to hear about it. Now you can pull that dysfunction up on your computer whenever you want.
Yeah, that is a difference. Two few things real quick. Dang Christopher, man, I would rather receive an email for stuff like that. You don't necessarily drop junk like that into the live chat and then make 5% of my audience leave and go look at her meltdown. Like, come on. Like, I mean, like y'all gotta not do that. Not be announcing stuff on people live chat that draw the audience away. But see, she's saying something. I mean, okay, let's explore and examine this one. Law and Order. And I don't know why a woman would name herself Law and Order. That's just weird. Okay, so the caller, you got to have fun and be wild when he was young and free, while the woman was raising their children during her young years. What's your response to that?
That's BS. Because first and foremost, I mean, it wasn't like she just totally had to just do all of that. I mean, because guess what? Even though I wasn't with her, I was still coming out of my pockets. And I was coming out of my pockets heavily. All right? I was coming out of my pockets heavily. And not only that, when you talk about her raising them on her own, I mean, as time started to slip on, that was something she chose to do. She was keeping me from my children. She was not bringing my children to me. She chose to just be doing it all by herself. Because if you're taking the children and you're keeping them from their father, you're choosing to raise them by yourself. If you're purposely keeping those children away from those kids, you are choosing to raise them all by yourself. That's the choice you've made. You know, that's the choice you've made. That's just the truth. You know, I mean, man, you have no idea. Well, you probably do. All right. Because you have custody of your kids. So you know what it's like when a woman is falling short and not letting you see your kids. She's literally keeping you, purposely and deliberately keeping you from those children. If she's doing that, she has made the decision. She's made the decision to raise them by herself.
What were the factors that man, this may be too deep to talk about, so you can decline this one if you want to.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. What were the factors that helped you to get custody? I assume you got full custody.
Yes.
So what were the determining factors? Because normally the woman see, this is why I said you may decline some.
No, because I want brothers to know this. I want brothers to know this.
Yeah,
I want them to know it.
Sometimes the woman has to have some type of dysfunction in order for the guy to get it. So that's why I was saying it's maybe a part of it you don't want to tell. But what were the factors that helped you to get the to get full custody?
Well, first and foremost, I went ahead and I petitioned the court for the fact that, I wasn't seeing them. All right.
Okay.
So I did that first. Right. And, they go and, they'll serve her with the suit and all that kind of nonsense. They'll serve her with the petition once you go in and file it. And, she wasn't showing up to court. She wasn't showing up to court. So I said, fine. She don't want to show up to court. So now I'm just going to go in and try to get 50-50. Right. Now, when I petitioned for the 50-50, she still was missing court dates. She still was missing visitation. And guess what? Eventually, the court got tired of it. They got tired of it. And they started threatening her. See, this is what brothers don't understand. If you got one of these difficult women who's a mother of your children and she's being difficult, stick with it. Stick with it if you want your babies. Because, see, what she's going to do is make her own self look bad. And not only that, when she did come to court, she would come to court and act a fool. She would come to court and act a fool. So what eventually ended up happening is I ended up with full custody. All right, full custody because of her lack of showing up to court, her lack of giving me visitation when I had clearly won it. All right, the lack of her not showing up to court during those hearings where they had to literally go out and have the sheriff serve her with a subpoena and say, hey, look, you better be to court next week or we're coming to pick you up. It had got to that point. So when she did start coming to court, she would be acting a fool in there, which most of them do. They will come in there and act a straight fool. And all you got to do is come in there, have your stuff together. All right? I'll tell you young brothers this right now, because I did it like 20 some odd years ago. It's probably a lot easier now. All you got to do is have your stuff together. All right? Because you ain't going to get your kids if you are living in grandma's basement. It's probably a long shot. Okay? If you're living in your mom's cellar, it's probably a long shot. But have yourself together. Have your money right. Have the right provisions and space for your baby. Have your documents together. All right? Have your documents together. And when you go to court, guess what? Speak with some clarity and some sense. And talk like you know what you're talking about. All right? And dress the part, too. And dress the part. Dress the part and come in there. Because trust me, most women, when they come in there and you do file those petitions to get your babies, whether it be visitation, 50-50 full custody, 9 times out of 10, she's going to come in there and act a straight monkey anyway. And all she's going to do is make you look better. You stay calm. No matter how crazy she acting, stay calm. Because that's what I did. I just stayed calm. I have my stuff together. I come in there. I be well groomed. I have on my jacket, my tie, my slacks, my Brooks Brothers shoes. I look the part. And I come in there and I talk with clarity, act like I know what I'm talking about. You make sure you got the resources to take care of your baby. Because guess what? They're going to put you through it like they did me. I mean, they had social workers come out to my house. They came in to make sure I had food. They made sure I had a job. They made sure I had a place for the kids to sleep. If you got all of that down pack, you good. You're good. Just make sure you have yourself together. If you're going to go after her for your children, if you're going to go for your children, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, Brother Bernard. If you're going to go after her to get your children, the first thing you have to do is have yourself together first.
You have to have yourself together. You have to be hitting on all cylinders.
Yep.
Here's the tricky part. She's allowed to have some shaky stuff going on. Mm-hmm. It's almost like you hitting on all cylinders, knocking it out the park in every area, and her having a few suspect areas makes y'all equal. Now, if you knocking it out the park and she's showing dysfunction, then you in the driver's seat. Me, I wasn't in the driver's seat because I was doing good. I had the same house I'm living in now, same house it was paid for at the time. So I was in a decent situation. Had a room for them, everything, got their bunk beds, all that, and had a space for them, had everything going, and I already had the weekend visitation thing. Said it was extended weekends, which wasn't bad. So it was my situation was this. It was hard it was hard for me to get it. I had to come back multiple times to get it because my ex-wife, she was smart enough to not to show up to court messy. She was smart. She was an evil genius about that stuff. She walked in there looking like a lawyer, carrying her own briefcase. So I was up against that. Was when you going up against that, where she know how to look the part, come in there dressed like a lawyer, carrying her own briefcase, and she speak like Irene Yvette, black woman, but she speak like you know what I'm talking about. She speak like a Candace Owens or Irene Yvette. They looking at this black woman that hitting on all cylinders. What this nigga over here trying to do? So it was easy for her lawyer to spin it like I was just some dude just post marriage trying to avoid child support. That's what they tried to spin it as, and that's what that's how they won. So I had to basically just go in the hole and because I knew once she got everything right on paper to where she was going to get her child support, I knew I was in a situation then where if I kept my mouth shut, whatever the schedule said they were supposed to be with me, I knew they were going to be with me more than what that schedule was saying. So that's how I ultimately had to win. I basically had to pay full-time child support for kids that I had more than half the time, and then over time just kept record of everything, and that go back to having everything lined up, all your ducks in a row. Had to get an extreme amount of evidence. Had to walk in there with an orgy of evidence showing that I had them more than half the time already. So I went in there fighting for full-time custody, knowing that they were going to default. My lawyer basically told me they're going to default back to, well, what are you already doing? Oh, well, good. I got all the evidence of exactly what we're doing. Photo evidence with the date camera. We got everything wrote in on the calendar, signed the time there, time going. Had to do that for a couple years. Walked in there with so much evidence to where they equalized it and said, okay, half and half, 1 week on, 1 week off. After a little bit of the 1 week on, 1 week off thing, it gradually turned into my oldest is with me full time 100% of the time, and my youngest is now with me 70% of the time, but it's still 50-50 on paper. So with that 50-50 on paper, you get a little small pinch of child support that I'm not even about to try to go fight about. And I'm like, you can go ahead and get those little crumbs. I go back and fight it. Now then they're gonna want to look at all, they want to pull all my current finances out too. So I might end up paying the same thing either way because I'm self-employed now. So I'm not even trying to. Nope. We gonna leave it as it is. I'll take the victory because it is a victory because I got it to the point where because the problem went from before of her of me, kind of not having them or having them but still under her control. It went from that being a problem to having them part-time on paper but damn near full-time in reality. So that it was multiple layers of multiple problems, but the fact that she showed up presenting so well and seeming being so believable in court to where neither one of us was bad. Well, there were some things that was bad that I had to unfortunately pull out and show evidence for, improve, and they had to interview the kids. I hate this part. I hated doing, and brothers. Sometimes you got to do this. I made some statements about what was going on with her, and got to be careful. And they interviewed the kids to confirm some things that I knew was true, and the kids confirmed it. And so there was some problems. There were some problems. I'll just say that. I'll put that vaguely and put that mildly.
Well,
there were
sometimes you gotta play dirty, man. So
yeah,
if you want your babies, you gotta be willing to play dirty.
When she was playing dirty by lying, I played dirty by telling the truth.
By telling the truth, exactly.
So that
exactly.
lets you know the mindset that I was in
I
versus
know,
the mindset
man.
she was in.
I know.
She played dirty with lies. I felt like I was playing dirty by telling the truth. So there's that. So that was my situation. But your ex technically gave you a I mean she loaded the bases for you to hit that home run the way she was in there wilding out, showing up, barely showing up, and
acting a fool, man. Acting a fool. And when she would do the same thing, coming in, telling lies and also kind of nonsense, because that's kind of where they default to. When it comes to the kids, they start making up. They start making up stuff, just pulling stuff out of the air. And fortunately for us brothers, all you usually have to do is tell the truth. Now, sometimes telling the truth is you playing dirty. But like Brother Bernard said, they play dirty with lies. You just play dirty back with the truth. Trust me. Just play dirty back with the truth. Because your babies are worth it, man. I felt like my babies was worth it. Because I felt like this, man. I had thought, I guess, because I was just naive at the time. I thought, well, I don't really want to hurt her. I don't want to hurt her feelings. But then I came to the reality that, hey, look, she didn't have no problem hurting me. She had no problem keeping my kids from me. So why in the hell should I be concerned about whether or not she's hurt or not? So what? This ain't about her. This is about my babies. And I don't care if she's hurt. I don't care if she alone either. So once you take on that mind state, you will do what you need to do to get your babies if you really want them. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Shout out to Platinum Elite and what he's saying right there. Now this lets you know how difficult it can be and how biased they can be towards men. He says, I know a woman that got custody of a young boy after she did 29 months. I'm assuming in the joint, 29 months in the joint, in the slammer. The child is 4 and the man had bonded with him, yet she got out of jail and got custody. That lets you know. I don't know if we're talking about the same video, but I saw a video of a man just heartbroken. The woman, she was coming to get the kid from him after she got out. The kid didn't even know the mom. The kid was crying. The man was crying. Everybody in the video was crying when she came and got, and she got the kid from the man. So that let you know that what you could potentially be up against. But there is a path to victory. Let's make that clear. There's a path to victory. It may not be an easy path, but it is a path to victory. So there's that.
Right. I agree. If you really want your kids, this message ain't for the brothers who don't give a damn about the kids. This message is for the brothers who really want their children and they're having problems with the mother and all this kind of nonsense, man. I mean, I don't want you going to jail. I don't want you, ruining your life over it. I don't want you to do that because you spoke earlier about how I think you were alluding to the fact that, sometimes a brother's own safety and freedom is at jeopardy just because, he's trying to, deal with his kids. And some women just make it totally impossible. And I know brothers who, it was made so impossible for them to get access to their children that they was like, you know what? They threw their hands up and they was like, look, I can't do this anymore. And, I can't even really be mad at those brothers because I was almost there myself. I was almost to the point where, I couldn't do this anymore. The amount of money that was being spent, man, and the problems I was going through and the lies being told and the not showing up to court dates, the not, not able to have the visits and all that kind of stuff. So I was almost there. So I understand why some brothers just throw their hands up, man, and are like, you know what, man, I can't do this anymore. Because I don't even think that, don't get me wrong, I'll do anything, for my babies. I'll take a bullet for them. I probably would still do it now, but a man gets to a point where his life is being torn apart so much that he has to do something to put it back together. And sometimes it means walking away, because not walking away will destroy you. So sometimes brothers, I really think that brothers have to do what they have to do to kind of get themselves together. Not just, not brothers who just walk away and they got 35 baby mamas and they don't care about the kids at all. I'm not talking about those brothers. I'm talking.
I'll tell you exactly what you're talking about. I got a cousin who, and I've told this story before, and I didn't even know that was his situation. I found that out much later. When me and him got older and we could really chop it up. And when I was going through my situation, and me and him started talking, he's about, he's like 10 years older than me. So, he's closing in on 50. So he told me with his first daughter that he more or less had to, come on, Sir Tice, quit I like timing out. I don't like hiding. Somebody unhide Law and Order. Okay, I'll do it. If I can do it. I don't even know.
I got him.
Yeah. You don't gotta hide her. I do not like hiding people from the channel. Just delete them, time them out. I'll see it, then I'll make the call.
Law and Order, you are saved.
I'll make the call on whether or not the person needs to be hit or not. That's how we gotta start doing things. But no, my cousin who he told me that staying here in this city with his baby mama, basically they was getting into so much stuff. Or he trying to leave her alone. He just won't, just want to be with his daughter. This woman showing up to his job. They getting into it. He said he lost like 2 jobs. Then he said he decided, you know what? That's how he's a business owner now. He started his own business because he knew he could just. It's funny. I mean, he's doing good now, but he became a business owner because he wanted to start his own business just because he knew he couldn't get fired from a job if he was the boss. So that way, if she come up and go to clowning and tearing junk up at his business, he knew he wouldn't get fired. That's how he got into, owning his barber shop and everything. He had, because he was but he was working regular jobs, I think, while getting his license, getting, his barber license or whatever. But yeah, but then even then, he kept getting into stuff. She was wilding out. She was coming at him. She said basically she was one of those chicks that wanted you to. She wanted you to hit her, and she did everything to provoke it. And sometimes his better angels didn't prevail. So I mean, because she coming at him swinging, and she probably. I mean, I was younger. I didn't see none of it. I didn't know. He telling me the stories after the fact. I think she caught a few bus driver uppercuts from him after, she bringing all that abuse his way. She's showing up at his job. She getting him fired. She clowning. I'm pretty sure she caught a few bus drivers. Oh, he in so many words told me, but he was like, I got to get away from this situation. He wanted his daughter. He wanted to be with his daughter, but he just realized he basically just packed up and had to move, I think, like something like 2.5 hours away from her. Started his barbershop there, and he's been living. He knew, so he essentially just kited. He left. He only moved 2.5 hours away, but still, he had to get the hell away from her. And his relationship with his daughter suffered. As she got older, they started to, rekindle the relationship when she made it to her mid to late teens. By then the mama, I think the baby mama probably had a new baby daddy she was wilding and clowning with, but he just had to remove himself from that situation him and his daughter got back tight when she made it to, you know, mid to late teens, and I think you know, because by then he was, you know, successful businessman, owned a few barbershops. I think he owned a fitness center too. He owned a lot of junk now. So, you know, so money wise, you know, he was there for his daughter, you know, when she got older, especially when she got older to the point where he could put the money directly in her hand. He really, you know, did everything he could. So he did everything he could, but he ultimately did end up, you know, getting married. Got married, got two daughters from the marriage. Both I think both of them off into college somewhere. Happy marriage, you know, probably with some problems, but overall happy marriage. Family oriented guy. he just you know, you know the woman is clowning when a family oriented man who ends up getting married after he leaves the crazy chick, ends up getting married and stayed married and puts kids through college and making good money, successful business owner, the whole works. Yep. It's like you know, when you can look back and see that, you know, whatever his reason was for skipping town, it had to be a good reason. And those are the situations where I don't knock the brother for walking away in that situation. He did, as long as he came back and tried to make it right when he could, but he knew it could not be made right in the same city as that woman. He had to get out of Dodge. He had to get to the chopper. He got to the chopper and got his life right, married a woman, raised children, and then came back when, you know, when he could, when the coast was clear. He came back when the coast was clear and got things right with his daughter, but he couldn't be in the same city as that woman. She was ruining his life. He had to get away. Mr. Shane Vicious, Mr. Shane Vicious, you dropped a comment when you said that don't sound much like patriarchy, talking about the courtroom situation, and that's the crazy thing when people say, "Oh, this country is a patriarchy and white men this, and they make the rules and they make the laws and this and blah blah blah." They're making laws that give women full creative control to be out of their goddamn mind. So that, I mean, it's like we got a patriarchy, alleged patriarchy in this country that makes matriarchal laws. So I that's why people just confuse me when they try to define or say different things. But anyway, Mr. Shane Vicious, as he says, as a great philosopher Kenneth Rogers said, you've got to know when to hold them, you got to know when to fold them, you got to know when to walk away and know when to run.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
L. Nixon had everything. His therapist. Let me see if I can make that. Cause my eyes getting blurry. Eyes getting blurry. L. Nixon in the building. He said had everything. His therapist was on PTA, school volunteer, notes from the school, child lawyer said I was more stable, etc. She was a mess and still won, even when the judge admitted to seeing manipulation. Wow. That I believe it. I know that happens. Yeah.
Society believes that women are better parents on default. Even if she freaking smokes crack, she's a drunk, she's a whore, she's never home, she's still a better parent than you. Just listen to this, man. Like I told you, when I was fighting for my babies, right? The first thing they did was ask me, "Oh, why do you want to take these kids from their mother?" And then after they asked that, once they got past that, and they knew that I was closing in on getting my babies, the first thing they did was send a social worker to my house. Mm-hmm. And they sent a social worker to my house to make sure, like I said, I had food. You know, they flipping the light switches and flushing the toilet and making sure there's a bed and stuff there for them. But guess what? When a woman goes into the hospital and has a baby, she could be living in a tent in the bushes behind the hospital. You think they're sending somebody to that tent to see if there's food there, to see if there's a bed there? She can have that baby, go out of that hospital and feed that kid insects if she wants to. But a man with a job, health insurance, life insurance, his own car, his own place, plenty of room for the kid, plenty of food in the refrigerator, all the bills are paid, They put you under so much scrutiny, and you have everything this child could possibly need. I mean, during the time I was going through that, man, I was making like at least 3 to 4 times as much money as she was, man. All right? I was quadrupling whatever money she was making, I quadrupled it. All right? And they still had me jumping through hoops. I had my own crib. I had life insurance, health insurance, all of that. If I had died during that time, my babies would have got paid. You know, all of that. And medical insurance, everything. But they still had me jumping through hoops, called my job, made sure I still worked there. Is there any chance of him getting fired? How long has he worked there? What kind of employee is he? What's his hours? Man, I went through all of that crap. I went through all of it. Things that they will not make the mama go through. Like I said, she could be a dope head. She could be a drunkard. She could be a barfly. She could be leaving the kids home by themselves all the time. She could have no food in the house, all that kind of nonsense. The social worker could walk in the house and she could be smoking crack, and she could hand the crack pipe to the social worker to see if they want to take a hit, and they will still find a way to keep those kids in that house with that woman. But you got your stuff together, got your money right, got your own crib, plenty of room for the kids. They make you jump through several hoops just to get your babies. And that's the crazy thing, because the default setting for parent never really means father. All right? It means mother to society.
Wow.
Fathers are inconsequential until they stick their head up, until they raise their hand, until they say, hey, look, I'm these kids' father. I want to take care of them. I want them to be with me. Until you say that, you are invisible to these people.
Yeah, man. L Nixon, man, that was you just reread your super chat that you posted, man. That's messed up. That's messed up. We was about to get off the air. I do like when people post stuff like that, if they give me an update, you know, at some point in the future, if you're still fighting, if you're still pursuing. I do want to know the update on it. We all know Perfect Blackness story, and I'm not even about to rehash that because I might start crying. But yeah, he's still fighting. So
oh yeah, shout out to Perfect Black, man. Yeah. That's my folk right there.
Yeah. He's a soldier on that battlefield. He definitely fighting for his kids. And but yeah, so yeah, keep us posted, man. Keep us posted. I want to know, you know, what you're doing, what's your next step, or have you thrown in the towel? Have you folded? You know when to walk away, know when to hold them, when to fold them, when to run. Yeah, want to update at some point. On where you're at with that, man. Because yeah, I don't like to see that. I don't like to see that. Kids need fathers, and someday women, as well as this country and the whole damn system as a whole, gonna figure that out someday. So, but all right, I'm gonna have to change this title because it's turned into a me and brother Xavier one-on-one. So I probably change this title, and because yeah, this was definitely good. Definitely enjoyed you. We about to get up off of here. Thanks for coming on through. This was sort of an impromptu show. I did because I wanted to do a follow-up to, you know, post show analysis on Kevin Samuels' show last night. It was a epic win where they saying he was up to 15K, but I think it was I only saw 13. Well, listen, only 13K, but I only saw 13K on there. Some people said it got up to 15K, so yeah, I did want to do a follow up to that, but it turned into much more. So thank you, and a shout out to Brother X. Real quick before I hit the end stream button, drop X's channel in the chat one last time. Somebody, I think Ricardo Rodney was doing it. Somebody dropped that in there one last time. Or do I got it right there? Hold on, let me see if it's still copy and pasted on me. So there it is. I dropped it right there. L Nixon says he's 20 now with me since he's 20 now with me since child support cut off and doing better financially than her. He doesn't want to go back to Wow. Damn. Yeah. Yeah. That's all. I mean, I guess that's good. I guess that's a good ending. It's just unfortunate that it, panned out the way that it panned out.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's
It is.
unfortunate that it panned out the way that it panned out. But yeah, if you in his life helping him and guiding him along the way right now, that's cool. 'Cause a lot of times that fatherhood that don't end when they turn 18. Don't end when they turn 18. Still gotta help them and guide them along the way. So yeah, my oldest is yeah, he's getting at that point. He's getting at that point where he's I mean, he's a senior, so there's that. And I already know I'm not going to be done guiding him along the way, even after he graduates. So there's that. So
Absolutely not.
so
Shoot,
yeah.
my boys in their 30s, and they still call me, "Oh, Pop, man, what should I do about X, Y, and Z?" So,
Yeah.
And my daughters forget about it. I mean, I speak to them like 4 times. "Oh, Dad."
Oh man.
That's just part of the deal, man. That's just part of the father deal.
You got to. I don't know what it's like with daughters. You got to pick up the phone and hear all their problems.
Oh, every damn one. I mean, absolutely, positively, every damn one. You know,
Oh man.
when you pick up the phone, you guess, as you're picking up, as you going ahead to hit that button on your smartphone, you're like, is this going to be about the boyfriend? Do she need money? You're thinking all of that, as you're answering what it's going to be. So. It is what it is, man. Plus my daughters are younger than my sons. My sons are my older kids. My daughters are younger. So, I'm they still call me daddy. My sons, they call me old man. That's been my nickname for the past 15 years. But my daughters, even though they're adults, they still call me daddy. "Oh, daddy, I need $100. Oh, daddy, my boyfriend broke up with me." That kind of crap. So
Mhm.
that kind of crap.
Yeah, I guess that's how I go. Guess that's how I go. I don't got daughters, but I got sons. So yeah, we'll see how that goes as they gets older. But with that said, I'd like to thank everybody for coming through today. Everybody who supported, everybody who liked, if you shared, if you subscribed. I saw some new people lurking around down there. If you're still here, go ahead and subscribe. Like, bang the bell, do all that good stuff. But not most importantly, but very importantly, got to thank those that hit the super chat, those that support this mail space and make all of this possible. We appreciate y'all. So salute and shout out to everybody. And with that said, we are out of here. Peace.
Peace, folks.